check. Good morning. Happy Tuesday, everybody, wherever you are, however you may be listening. Thanks for making us part of your day. It's a beautiful, overcast, and slightly mushy and moist Tuesday morning in Mesa, Arizona. It's haboob season. If you live in Arizona, you know what I'm talking about. If you love haboobs, now is the time to come visit Arizona. I sound funny again? Ah, shit. Is it doing that mic thing again? Hold on 1 second. I think it auto connects to the camera. Give me 1 second. All right, that should fix it. That fix it? I got a new camera, that's why. And it tries to do that every time. Sounds like I'm in the bathroom. All right, sorry about that. I'm gonna have to start remembering to do that. Yeah. Should we just start over? Much gooder. Thanks. Good morning, Jennifer.
Good morning.
Jen has an apology. Jen didn't notice that we got raided by Lance from the Surfs yesterday, and so Jen feels really bad about that.
I do.
Go ahead, Jen. You're saying that you wanted to issue an apology.
Things that didn't happen for 1,000.
Anyways, we missed it. Yes, I didn't see it. I saw it when I logged back in. Sometimes there's a lag, but that was cool. I'm a big fan of Lance from the Surfs, and they raided us yesterday right at the end of the live. So if any of you are here that came in from that raid yesterday, thank you and welcome. And sorry we didn't hang out longer yesterday. You guys don't know Lance? You don't know Lance from the Surfs? I think it's the Surfs TV is his Twitch. He's good. I believe he's Canadian. So whatever you're going to do with that, he doesn't even go here. No? We got a flash flood and a sandstorm yesterday, didn't we? Yeah, we did. It was wild yesterday. And I ordered food yesterday, and it was chaos. But the driver showed up during like the worst part of the storm and didn't follow the directions that I gave because it's hard to find where I live. So I go meet at like a more central place. There's like where the clubhouse is. And didn't happen. So both me and the driver were walking around the parking lot at different spots, just getting absolutely obliterated by rain, wind, and dust. And then we finally got my food, and I felt really bad for the driver. Don't use the word moist. Well, how would you explain it, Jen? What's a better way to explain like a sudden burst of moisture?
Wet.
It's a very wet Tuesday. Yeah, I'm getting dual boob slapped. That's right.
I just was reading the YouTube comments, and I didn't notice you have new glasses, or these are new glasses that I haven't seen before.
These are new glasses, correct? Courtesy of a local company here, WMP Eyewear. They sent these to me, which I appreciate. And all my sunglasses are WMP. It's a Scottsdale company. They make the lenses are super, super lightweight and comfortable, and my face sweats a lot, especially when I'm out golfing, and their glasses don't slide. So and they're cheap, like anywhere from like $30 to $50 for a pair of sunglasses or blue light, or I think they do prescription lenses too. So there you go.
Really fast, but don't read or announce anything until I send you a screenshot of something.
Don't read or announce anything. So
yeah,
you want me to just be quiet?
Just hold. You do this thing where like I'll tell you not to do something and you end up doing it anyway. So just
hashtag sponsorship. I wish they did send them to me at no cost, which was nice, and I said I would mention them on the show. But
all right, check or chat.
Oh, got you. Jesus Christ.
Exactly. Thank you. Because you've done that before.
I would never do that.
Times you would.
Okay.
But I was gonna make fun of your glasses. Like you're
make fun. Like, what's wrong with my glasses?
No, I mean not necessarily make fun, but like
other ones
you're not giving the cereal on a live goals this time. You're giving more like Peabody from.
So I look.
Those,
do I look smarter or just less
yeah,
less threatening?
I think Peabody looks smart. I mean, he's a
Okay.
cartoon dog, but I mean,
What are you trying to say?
it's just the style. I don't know.
Is that real? AP just reported that Trump has just backed out of charging fees to ships using the Strait. Will you find that if he did back out on that? That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm gonna find it. So
That's a quick taco. It is Taco Tuesday. By the way, quick announcement. Sorry, Jen, didn't mean to cut you off there. I gotta gotta make it so that my screen doesn't time out. Big W in the chat for mindless pursuit, for wiping out the gift goal. That was incredibly generous. Wiped out the entire gift goal for the day. And so we don't have to bother you guys today. But Mindless Pursuit, thank you. You're always very generous, not only with your time, your comments, and your donations. Thank you very, 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 very much. And I'll send those nudes later that you asked for. Those are on the way.
So, well, I mean, I'm gonna still pass you because we're overachievers here. We're a bunch of nerds.
We are.
So we always like to get extra credit. So I will still do my reminders, but not as guilty, like not as mean.
Okay.
But Illusion sent a Venmo that said, "A moist, wet, sloppy, and gushy Tuesday to you."
That's the second time I've gotten in trouble for a joke about moisture this morning. So maybe I might have hit my moisture quota jokes today.
Yeah, I probably should just leave those alone.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I'll do my announcements and we can get going. So
Agreed with Matt. Take the day off, Jen. Guys, if Jen takes the day off, I'm gonna lose every account. Every single one. TikTok fucked, YouTube fucked, Twitch fucked. We're gonna wind up on Kick. You don't want that. I will ruin everything so fast.
Yeah, you can. I mean, I've been gone before. You'll be all right.
It didn't go well. I don't think it's ever gone well.
True.
All right.
Fairness. All right. Well.
Sorry, real quick. I missed one. Blue Chew said, "Did you see the tire tracks in the reflecting pool?" Yes. They drained the reflecting pool, and then you could see the tire tracks that definitely didn't cause any damage. Sorry, Jen. This time I won't. Watch, I'll mute it. I won't cut you off this time. Ready, go.
Okay. Sure. No, we'll see. We'll see. So thanks to Mindless Pursuit, we actually knocked out the gift goal, and I'm still gonna, as mentioned, do some other reminding if we want to be overachievers. So thanks again to Mindless Pursuit for knocking that out. If you're not a subscriber already, you should be. So you can join us for members-only events that we have every other Wednesday. So wherever you're watching, if you become a paid member or subscriber, you can join us for those events. We watch movies, do other things. So these are good times if you want to join us for that. If you disagree with our TV and would like to come up and have a conversation, how you do that is you send me a message on Discord. My Discord username is the same as the Venmo, so Jen with 2 N's, Deb with 2 B's, the number 1, and I can bring you up to have a conversation. Check out the link tree in the bio on most social media platforms. We got merch days on Cameo. We upload these episodes to Spotify. Actually, I still need to upload the episode to Spotify. It was downloading it weird yesterday. Okay. So, what are you laughing at?
That's just somebody telling me to shave my genitals on TikTok. I think they might actually be talking shit, but that made me laugh. Kudos to you if you don't like me and you can make me laugh. I don't know if you're talking shit or not. For the record, I do. Thank you. That is a good reminder. Maybe time. No, I'm just kidding. My girlfriend came back after like almost 2 weeks away yesterday, so we're all good there.
Or did not shave.
We're all good there. Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
glad we know that now. Anyways, a weasel goes into a bar. The bartender says, "Interesting. I've never served a weasel before. What can I get you?" "Pop," goes the weasel.
That weasel was definitely from the Midwest. That was a Minnesota weasel. My face? You're saying I need to shave my face? We don't like the beard on my face? Damn. I'm just getting creamed today. I shouldn't have said that. God damn. Jen, you were supposed to stop that from happening. I wasn't supposed to make any other jokes like that. Thank you, Johnny, Siberio, Belinda, Lisa, And Johnny Longtrail, good to see you for the top gifters over on TikTok. Just a reminder, guys, that's how TikTok keeps us alive. Did you notice, Jen, there's a new like point system on TikTok? Did you look through that?
The ones like you get like so many points a day. I think that
Yeah.
we've discussed this. I told you about this before, and it reminded me of like, I don't know if your daughter's school has this, but like you get points per day in school for kids.
Did you see we got 3 points for having 2 consecutive lives without getting in trouble?
Yeah, we get 3 a day. It's our good points. Yeah,
they send you the notification. You did it. You didn't fuck up.
Good job.
Twice in a row.
Yeah.
She told me this last week. Fuck, my bad. I'm sorry.
I did. I know. It's fair. I don't listen to you all the time either, so that's fair.
That's true. That's true.
But I mean, and the other thing, I'm supposed to stop you from saying shit. You, like I said 1,000 times, you say things that you couldn't waterboard out of me. So that's not me.
Yeah, that's true. That's it's just honesty. But you could do a better job stopping me before I said it.
Well, you won't wear the shock collar, so I really can't. So.
No, that's something I do in my private life. I don't bring that to work. Did I do it? Did I make Jen uncomfortable? Did I do it?
No, I'm just ignoring you.
I think I did it. She didn't even make it. She didn't turn it around on me. That was amazing. I did it. Well, let's call it a day, everybody.
All right.
I look more like BTK these days. Oh, that's not
it's
nice.
your lie. You tell it however you want.
Thank you, Jennifer. It's wonderful to have you here this morning, as always. All right. I wanted to start with this. Every once in a while, we'll do these. One of my favorite accounts on Twitter is Decoding Fox News, where she reads Trump quotes without having to hear his voice, and we get to make sense of it. I thought this would be a good way to start things off today.
It's Trump without Trump. You won't have to listen to his voice or see his face. This quote is unedited and 100% accurate. This is from the G7 summit on June 17th, 2026. These are the words of the President of the United States of America. And trillions of dollars will be made by the world, and the stock market will, I believe, continue to rise. The only difference is that a player that's very volatile, very tough, very smart, and frankly, they have, in one way, a primitive culture, but it's also a genius primitive culture. They're very smart people, very good negotiators, but so are we. So rather than possibly going
I think he's talking about Iran. Yesterday we played the quote of him saying that they're terrible negotiators.
To a depression, rather than having your favorite president be Herbert Hoover, who was always the one I didn't want to be. I wouldn't have preferred Nixon. I wouldn't have preferred, there are plenty. I wouldn't prefer, but the one I always thought of, Herbert Hoover, and he caused it. He raised taxes too fast, and he raised interest rates too fast, all at the same time, and it caused the Great Depression. So I don't think I'll make mistakes like that. I lower taxes. I don't raise taxes. We just gave you the largest tax decrease, the largest tax cut in the history of our country. So we'll be working on a parallel effort with the Gulf nations to address non-nuclear issues.
That fucking transition is incredible. That's such an incredible transition. So we'll be working with the Gulf nations, naturally.
As the conventional ballistic missiles, which we'll be talking about and supporting. I mean, they have to have some because other people have some. You've got to have some. Somebody said you shouldn't give them one. And I have guys I like, some of these guys, but I don't think that they're smart. Sir, you shouldn't have any missile. I said, well, what am I going to do? They're going to let Saudi Arabia have missiles, but they can't have them? Donald J. Trump.
Word for word, that's his actual speech. She's just reading the transcript from his actual speech. It is remarkable. And to Trump's credit, when he is saying it, we're so used to it that we've all learned to translate like his mannerisms. He speaks with his hands a lot and his facial expressions, so we've learned to like kind of figure out what he's talking about. But if you try and hand somebody a transcript of what Trump is saying, and we've done it before, now MAGA doesn't come around so much anymore, but we used to do that. Be like, can you explain to us what this is? You could read 3 straight paragraphs. If you read 3 paragraphs of anything anybody said, everybody's going to be able to figure out what they're talking about. Almost never with Trump. You almost never know what he's talking about. Unbelievable. And yet it is quite believable. All right. This is leading, though, to Trump becoming very, very popular. Someone we haven't seen for a while is Harry Enton, and he's his energy. We love Harry Enton's energy. I know it's everybody's favorite pollster. I don't care what you say. He's your favorite. If anybody in the chat says you have a different favorite pollster, I'm just going to assume that you're lying, and you just you don't want me to be happy with 100% unanimous support for Harry Enton.
How's the president doing on foreign policy?
Is voter ID racist, sexist, and or unconstitutional? The SAVE Act isn't a voter ID bill. They tell that to stupid people so you don't read the bill. It's a voter suppression bill. You all say the same things every goddamn fucking day, and it's the same goddamn fucking thing that Donald Trump said. Have a thought of your own. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Bad. In 2024 versus Kamala Harris, foreign policy.
Sorry, Draco's Rose says, nope, I like the beard, just long enough for not to be scratchy and still run fingernails through it. Thank you.
Policy was a strength for this president. He was trusted more in foreign policy than Kamala Harris by attempt.
Nobody says voter ID is racist, sexist, or any of those things. That's the like. Nobody thinks voter ID in and of itself is racist or sexist. We can get back to that in a minute, but it's absolutely voter suppression.
Point margin. Among independents, he was trusted more by 14 points. Come over to this side of the screen. The net approval now on foreign policy in 2026. Down he goes, right into the Strait of Hormuz. Look at this. 22 points in the negative direction.
Fair enough. Good argument, actually. If voter ID in general is any of that, then by default, ID for the Second Amendment is the same thing, I guess. Sure.
A minus 22-point net approval rating. That is a drop of over 30 points. And among independents, he is now at minus 30 points. You know I love those notes at the bottom of the screen, Johnny B. So that is a movement of 44 points among independents. Foreign policy, which was a strength for this president during the 2024 campaign, has become a weakness for him here in 2026, leading.
The only way you get a 44-point swing like that is if your foreign policy originally was, I'm going to end all of the wars and everything will be peaceful. And then you become president and you don't end any of the wars and you start new ones and nothing is peaceful. That's the only way you can lose 44 points in your approval rating, which is exactly, coincidentally, what Donald Trump did. Sherry said whiskers are a great place to sit. Jesus.
Up to this midterm campaign.
How's the president doing on foreign policy?
All right. Moving on there. Well, any of you guys got that diarrhea? Any of you get that explosive diarrhea yet? I think it's, what's it called? It's called, I had to look this up this morning. It'll be in here. Get out of here. Ads. What's it called again? Cyclospora. Would you be surprised to know that we used to monitor for that? It's not new. And that this administration stopped monitoring it. TDS. Yeah, it's TDS. That's pretty good. Who said that? Stickers for cookers. Well done. Blue Chew said $2 mustache ride train. Thank you. The country in the midst of a nationwide outbreak of explosive diarrhea caused by a parasite the CDC stopped surveilling at the federal level in July of 2025. That's around the same time the Trump administration began haphazardly attacking and defunding federal health and science agencies under the guise of government efficiency. With Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy separately also pushing out critical federal scientists and researchers. Prior to that date, a collaborative CDC program called FoodNet helped federal and state regulators track 8 foodborne pathogens. Among them was Cyclospora, a heat-loving spherical parasite that sickened 1,000 people in an ongoing outbreak in Michigan, the state's worst, with similar illnesses cropping up in 28 other states. We got it here in Arizona. Congratulations. In addition to Cyclospora, surveillance of Yeah, right. Campi lobicter, Listeria, Shigella, Vibrio, and Yersinia. I think those are all ED medications. Was cut. FoodNet now only regularly monitors 2 diseases: Salmonella and Shiga toxin-producing E. coli. A list of CDC talking points seen by NBC News last summer clearly blamed funding for the program's drastic cutback. Funding has not kept pace with the resources required to maintain the continuation of FoodNet surveillance for all 8 pathogens, the talking point read. A CDC spokesman at the time downplayed the cuts to NBC and suggested state health departments could pick up the slack. The CDC did not immediately respond to HuffPost's request for comment late Friday. Colorado, one of the participating states, said that absent funding, it would correspondingly cut back its surveillance. That state has now experienced a cyclospora outbreak of its own. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy, Reba Puzma, a Denver resident who likely has a cyclospora, told CBS. I'm on day 5 now of going to the bathroom over 40 times a day, and nothing has been solved. I'm sorry for laughing at that. Like, I'm still a child. And so talking about diarrhea is going to make me laugh. But yet Trump's only real accomplishment, explosive diarrhea. If I have to shit my pants, you all have to shit your pants too. Craig Hedberg, PhD, a professor in the Division of Environmental Health Sciences at the University of Minnesota, disagreed with the CDC's claim that FoodNet was duplicative. That's how you say that, right? The disturbing thing about cutting FoodNet funds is that it normalizes the idea that foodborne disease surveillance is expensive and unimportant. In fact, it is the foundation of our food safety system and needs further investments, not restrictions. In addition to the ongoing cyclospora outbreak, Trump administration cutbacks made under the guise of government efficiency also brought back a flesh-eating parasite that favors cattle. Hooray! Accidentally fired scientists managing the bird flu outbreak. Hooray! Accidentally fired the FDA's medical device reviewers and pulled research funding to protect pregnant women from domestic violence, among other things. Hooray! But guess what, guys? Billionaires can write off their yachts now. They can write off their private jets. So, isn't that better? Isn't that a lot better? Congratulations to MAGA. Very happy for all of you. I hope that if you are truly MAGA and you truly believe in this administration, you will track down somebody with explosive diarrhea and you will do everything you can to contract that explosive diarrhea. And if you can't find the food that they ate, perhaps you eat the waste. Eat shit for Donald Trump, MAGA. Show your loyalty. Doge in action. Yeah, winning too much. Another giant L for Trump. Not even surprised at this point. Yeah. Curious Red Monster said, Mom, can we have Steve Kornacki? No, we have Steve Kornacki at home, and it's Harry Enton. Fuck you. Fuck you. That's a There's no way you like Steve Kornacki better than Harry Enton. Don't you want a little pizzazz when you go over polling? I want pizzazz. All right. The first, I don't know how long the first part of this show is going to take today, but the first part is just going to show the cult. And I wish we could come up with new words. Doing the same show, doing the show every day and saying cult every day, it does lose its luster. But I just don't know a better word for it. It's an absolute cult. And everybody that is on TV as a Republican is an absolute fucking lunatic, including Cynthia Loomis. This is a human being that the state of Wyoming chose as one of their 2 representatives. She is dumber than a box of rocks. And she went on Fox Business to justify and praise Donald Trump for running not 1, but 2 crypto pump and dump schemes and using his stablecoin as a way to accept bribes to give favors to other countries. And she's spinning this as a win. That's cult behavior. Look how smart he is. He figured out a way to grift off the presidency. All praise Donald.
When we finally come to the language that both the Congress can live with and the White House can live with, I think it's going to be a decent balance and something fair. You know, Maria, we can't just legislate for one person. The president made his money on digital assets before he took the oath of office.
2 days before. 2. And he used his office to sell, after the pump and then the dump, They pumped again, and that was while he was in office. He gave like the top, I think it was 250 purchasers of his cryptocurrency a private event at the White House. Was it at White House or it might have been at Mar-a-Lago? It was at Mar-a-Lago. I take that back. It was at Mar-a-Lago. And they're praising this. We can't just write legislation for one specific person. Yeah, you can. If that one specific person is the president, there are a lot of laws that only apply to the president. Running crypto pump and dump schemes should not only apply to everybody, but for the president. It's a crime. What he did was a crime. It was a crime before he took office. It's still technically a crime. They're just not going to pursue it. However, if I was an attorney and I was going to go after the Trump family, you have to wait till he's not president anymore, right? I would save this clip. And I would save every Republican out there defending that Donald Trump did these crimes before he was president. It's not a crime. You don't think a crypto pump and dump scheme is a crime? Then why did people go to jail for pump and dump schemes? Can you explain that, William Talentless? Is that what it is? William Talentless? Oh, everybody's mad at you. Oh man. Everybody's mad at you. Tell me, William, why crypto pump and dump schemes are legal? Can you explain? Let's see, what were they called? There was the Save the Children token. Do you know anything about the Save the Children token and the people that went to jail for the Save the Children token for running a pump and dump scheme? Did you explain that? No, the Hawk girl, she was lucky. She came in, she did that under the Trump administration. So they're not prosecuting the Hawk girl, but she did that. Want to answer that one, William? Wait for a second. William is today's presidential butt buddy. Yeah, well, welcome. Good to have you.
So we have to make sure that people, when they are private citizens, can retain their rights to make money and use their intellectual prowess to make money in this country. That's not wrong. In fact, that's
intellectual prowess. You're running a scam, bro. Imagine being William today, showing up like, I like presidents who scam people out of money. You know that with a meme coin, I don't know if you know this. If you make money, it's because you sold the coin when it goes up, right? What happens when you sell when it goes up? It goes back down, right? If you sell a bunch. The Trumps have made, the family has made somewhere between $3 and $4 billion. And the people that have invested in their cryptocurrencies, both their stable coin and their meme coins, have lost between $7 and $8 billion. Now, the money comes in through the purchases, right? And comes out through the sells. So Donald Trump and his family made $3 to $4 billion, while the people investing in him lost $7 billion. And the coin has no value, has no utility. They used, when Trump said, I love stupid people, I love the uneducated, I admittedly, I didn't think that he was going to run like multiple crypto pump and dumps. Okay, let's look this up, William. Let's find that. Is it crypto rug pull? Are crypto rug pulls illegal? Have you looked that up? You can go here to Kaspersky. You don't know what this is. This is for NFTs. In crypto, a rug pull refers to a scam where a cryptocurrency or NFT developer promotes a project to attract investor funding, only to shut down or disappear, taking investors' assets with them. There are variations on this theme, such as when developers deliberately hype up a project to increase the price. This is the part that they did. This is going to be, it's the president. It's his own coin. Everybody's going to invest in this. And then abruptly sell up, leaving the price to fall. Let's look at the Trump meme coin pricing. Actually, we can just go right there to Trading View. Can we go? All right, we can just look at all time. That's not good. That's not good, right? All this just selling on the way down. It got to $11.35. Then it dropped, and then about right here, then Trump said, the top 250 people who buy my coin will get a special event. Went back to 1085, and then he sold, and then they all sold. And then I don't know what this one is. You just see these little peaks right here. It's a pump and dump. It's also, as we pointed out here, a crime. This is called liquidity theft. You can look this up if you want, William. Here's some examples. Frosties, Big Daddy Ape Club, Baller Ape Club. These were NFTs, which are essentially the same thing. The only difference is that NFT had some art to it. Thodex. Did they have some crypto polls here? Some examples of crypto polls. I like this. How to protect yourself from rug pulls. Don't invest in meme coins. I didn't say NFTs are the same, you dumb fuck. I said the only difference behind them is that they have an artwork associated. They're exactly the same. An NFT is a piece of art, most of the time generated by AI, and you own one of the one of one for that, right? And people tell you that these are going to be everywhere. Everybody's going to have NFT art projects. And so they pump it up and everybody bids and bids and bids, and they go and they buy up all these NFT art projects. And then they realize that there's no utility in any of them. There's no lasting value. And then they crash. And who made all the money? The people that were creating the NFTs. It's the exact same as crypto. The principle is exactly the same. Convince people that this thing they're investing in is going to go up forever, or that it's going to be valuable forever, and that it's a good investment. And then when it gets to a certain point, when you see that people stop buying, and you can watch the charts, when purchases start leveling out, then you sell everything at once, and you get as much as you can out of it, and then everybody else panic sells on the way down, and the whole thing crashes. My investment is diversified by LOLs and calico critters. I love that. Get yourself some Beanie Babies. By the way, what a screenshot. This is a real person that's a senator in our country.
Kind of the great American capitalist premise.
Yeah.
That's not capitalism. It's not. It didn't require capital to run up that meme coin. It was just straight up theft. This is the next however long this takes. This is just going to show you over and over that everybody that's a Republican in office, damn near everybody who is still supporting Trump, is just a fucking idiot who worships him. This is Senator Marshall, perhaps one of the top 5 dumbest people in Congress, and he's just going to admit that he waits for Donald Trump to tell him what to do. He's in another branch of the government. It's supposed to be co-equal. They're supposed to be separate from the executive branch, and he's just going to admit that, I just do whatever they say. Fuck you, first of all, whoever did this. This is not nice. Those BTK glasses look closer to my other ones, by the way. I didn't enjoy that at all. You guys always bully me. Not nice. Did I miss any here? Okay. All right, here's Roger Marshall. I do whatever Donald Trump tells me to do.
I asked the president today if he still felt that Iran should be able to have some of its ballistic missiles, an argument that he had after he signed the memorandum.
Remember when he was in Iran and he was like, it's not fair if Iran doesn't get to have ballistic missiles. And then Roger Marshall went on. He's like, yeah, it's not fair that Iran gets ballistic missiles. And now Trump has lost his mind and he keeps changing his opinion every other day. And so these dipshits in Congress, if I was one of them, I guess you can forgive them for siding with the president once. But if the president one time made me look like an idiot like that, I'd stop doing it. Not Roger Marshall. He's going down with the ship.
Of understanding. When I asked you then if you agreed with that, you said this. Senator, are you okay with Iran having missiles?
I'm hesitating. I'd prefer that they not. I certainly don't want them to have long-distance missiles. I don't want them to have nuclear-armed missiles. I would prefer they didn't. But I don't think that's the key issue here. I think that they have to be able to defend themselves. And I just kind of come back.
Was BTK my real dad? I don't know. I don't know my real dad, really.
Back to the big picture here is that the Middle East countries like this agreement.
You were saying
Okay, there he is. I'm doing exactly what Trump said. Now here he is today.
that Iran should be able to defend itself with ballistic missiles. Right now, they're doing that against the Gulf countries and in response to the United States. I mean, are they using those missiles to defend themselves against the United States?
Could Chris Pontius be my dad? Aren't we like roughly the same age?
Right. So if it was up to me, we would end this regime completely. They would have nothing left. That's what I would prefer to do. But if we're trying to negotiate with them, and if they were willing to...
Sorry, I know I'm stopping this a lot, but I'm so fucking tired of this. I'm tired of this being unchecked. I like Caitlin Collins. She does a good job. I don't blame her for not checking this because you got to check them all the time. But if I worked at CNN or MSNBC or I could get any of these dumb fucks on my show, every time they said something like that, like I would prefer that the entire regime be obliterated, I would ask them why. And I'll ask MAGA in the chat why too. What is it that Iran has done that gives you the impression that life would be better if they were completely eliminated? What did they do? I'll take the answers in the chat. It's gonna be something like I'm gonna say it and they're still gonna say it, that they chanted death to America. Then they're gonna say that they funded terrorism. And then I'm going to say, well, we also fund terrorism. It's not, we just label them terrorists, but they're resistance groups. They're fighting in a war that we brought to their front door. We showed up with weapons and a military and said, you're fucked. And then when they fought back, we went, you're terrorists. What did they do? Iran was our ally after Saudi Arabia did 9/11. Yeah. Where'd William go? Did William get banned? I know he was going after women. I would ask Roger Marshall. They're not going to be able to say. He would say, and this is the most alarming part about all of these Republicans in office, is they legitimately don't know anything. They just repeat what they're told to repeat all the fucking time. And it's getting scary now. Like, none of them have a thought of their own. I've dealt with a lot of like weird shit in my life the last 8 years. And a lot of the shit that I've dealt with in dealing with MAGA friends and family and people that I'm around is watching in real time people close their eyes and close their ears and just repeat stuff definitively. And when you ask them, when you show them any evidence that goes against what they're repeating definitively, they just go, I don't want to hear it. You're the bad guy. Why? I still do not know. I've waited. Every day I ask the question, why the fuck are we at war with Iran? I've never got a good answer. I've never heard a Republican give me a good answer. It's, they were going to get nukes, which no evidence of. They chanted death to America. Okay. They killed protesters. Yeah, protesters who were funded and pushed to attack the government by us and Iran. You think... Israel. What do you think would happen if there was like 10,000 protesters, let's say, in headed to Washington, D.C., and they were funded by Iran and China, and they were headed to the Capitol? What do you think MAGA's response would be if then the National Guard fought them off and killed 3,000 of them? MAGA would say, good job. That was a group of people funded by another country attempting to overthrow our government. And honestly, I'd probably side with MAGA. I'd probably be like, yeah, you know what? I get that they hate Trump, but we just can't have other governments funding resistance groups that attack our capital. So MAGA would justify that, and I'd be like, yeah, you're right. And then yeah, exactly. J6 would happen, and we'd be like, wait, you can't do that. You can't attack the Capitol. And they're like, yeah, they can. It was actually the FBI and Antifa. Can any Democrats on here explain how ID for the Second Amendment has been long? Okay, but ID for the 15th isn't? I don't know. What do you mean? What do you mean by that? The 15th Amendment is it means that the government can't deny your right to vote based on like your ethnicity or your previous condition of servitude. What do you mean by that? I'll answer that question, but you're going to have to explain it further. Let's get back to Roger Marshall.
Cooperate. If they're willing to disassemble all their nuclear capabilities and agree to all the things we had talked about, then I think there would have been some room for them to have a military presence. But again, I go back as the plan was laid out to me.
So you only think they should have ballistic missiles when they are a party to the MOU?
I think that they need to make significant progress. I think all the nukes need to be gone. I would prefer them not to have any missiles ever. But the whole point of this MOU was going down. The MOU was a step towards an agreement. And what part of that agreement was the Gulf Coast countries going in there and working with Iran on all these other issues, and let those countries decide.
Is he drunk? I've noticed a lot of slurry MAGA interviews yet. Probably not. They don't know how to defend any of this. Thank you, Greggies. They don't have nukes. The stumbling is because they don't know how to defend how Donald Trump keeps changing his mind, and he just waits for Donald Trump. He admitted, I wait for Donald Trump.
Well, how much of a military Iran should have or not have?
But the president was talking.
That's not pathetic to any of you guys. A member of Congress just like, I take my direction from Donald Trump. That's how we do this. Sandy Bachom, who I follow on Twitter, I assume she made this video. There's no credits here, but she said, I've been filming the rise of MAGA for 10 years. I asked them two things. One, why do you love him? And two, where do you get your news? And this does explain every MAGA person I know. And for the record, anybody that's MAGA that's here, I appreciate you being here. And I will give you a compliment. If you're here and you're MAGA, at the very least, you're willing to hear things that don't back up what you believe. Now, I don't know that you believe anything I say, but at the very least, you're better than a lot of these people who won't even hear other information.
I get my news from Donald Trump himself. What he says is the truth. That's it. I don't care what fake news has to say about my man, Donald Trump. He's the best. I watch.
Now, that's a cult. I get my news from this person. I don't listen to anybody else. That sets you up to be abused. It sets you up to be tricked, deceived. Good Lord. I've dealt with, outside of MAGA, just in my own personal life, I've been dealing with some people in my life who believe an obvious liar. Somebody where there's like evidence that they're lying. And when confronted with that evidence, they are just saying like, I choose to believe their behavior towards me instead. It's really fucked up a lot of parts of my life, if we're being honest, for the last year or I guess 6 months or so. And it sucks because I don't know what to do with people like this. Like I grew up in a cult. I left this. This is entirely cult behavior. I don't think she would care that I shared this, and she doesn't watch my show anyways, but I had a conversation with my sister about this. I've been pretty honest about the relationship with my parents. It was really struggled. It's in a better spot now. They hate Donald Trump, which is, for me at least, a step in the direction of they're recognizing like bad behavior. They're recognizing somebody who's obviously just like evil. And so I appreciate that. So we disagree on a lot of other things, but one of the things that she and I had a discussion about is just that she's able to take somebody's actions towards other people, if it's like, if they're cruel towards other people, and she's able to take those actions and separate them from how she feels about that person. And I'm not able to do that. And where we came, the agreement that we came to is just like, hey, like I can't do that. I don't know if it's right or wrong, to be honest. I think that people who tend to agree with me politically share that same function of their brain. It is really, really hard for me to separate those two. This weekend was a test of that. There were some friends I don't talk to very often, but friends that were UFC fans of mine, and they were like, I got text messages after Conor blew out his knee, and they were like, "Oh man, your guy blew out his knee," and I'm like, I fucking hate that guy. Like, what do you mean? He was like, you loved Conor McGregor. I was like, yeah, but I don't like rapists. And they're like, well, that's crazy. So you just don't like him at all? You're not rooting for him? I don't believe that. I'm like, no, seriously, like that's a deal breaker for me. And they had a hard time understanding how that was a deal breaker for me. It's called empathy. Yeah, Lisa, it is. And I do think that like MAGA will openly tell you this. They hate empathy. Empathy sucks, honestly. It's a good thing. I think empathy, if everybody had more empathy, the world would be a better place. But it is really fucking difficult because sometimes empathy requires you to cut off relationships or fanhood or even TV shows. What the right often calls cancel culture is just legitimately empathy. Just legitimately that. When you think of and it's hard with conservative. I don't say conservative. The men that I know in my life, and the men that I know in my life, almost exclusively white guys. Right? I grew up in Utah. I traveled a lot of places, but I didn't. To be honest, I didn't make like a lot of friends in the places that I traveled. I've always kind of kept more to myself. I've always had like a smaller group of people in my life. But empathy has like legitimately cost me friendships before. It's cost me one of my best friends. We've recently like started talking again, but this fight was a different one. It was one that I wouldn't have ever had like 15 years ago. But it was when Nancy Pelosi's husband was beaten by a hammer, and the same group of friends that would send me text messages anytime somebody on the left did something wrong. Or, they're sending me at that time. They're like, cool, look at Joe Biden. What an idiot. He's stumbling over his words. Or look at Kamala Harris. Like, look at her flip flop on like one of my friends is in the medical marijuana industry. He's like, I don't like her flip flop on this. And those are all fair criticisms, right? But then they're laughing about Nancy Pelosi's husband being beaten with a hammer. Gracias, we're not doing this shit with you today. See, this is what I'm saying. Actually, we are. We're going to use you as an example because you're exactly what I'm talking about. It's the difference between the right and the left. Empathy, you don't have it. And it might be the divide. If you're looking for how can somebody be MAGA, look for empathy, and you'll find out they have none. Empathy is hard. It is hard to live your life with empathy. It will require tough decisions. It will require you to exit certain rooms, exit certain conversations, or in somewhat like for me, I'm more disruptive. I won't leave the room. I'll disrupt the room. A lot of people, to protect their own peace, have to leave the room. And I'm not saying one way is right or wrong. Some people just aren't disruptors. That's fine. But MAGA doesn't have that. And then the irony of that, when Lindsey Graham dies, and I get a bunch of messages of like, see how the left is, see how violent and evil the left is. Yeah, there's people on the left without empathy too. It's true. I mean, there's people without empathy all the way around. However, I will say that if you choose not to have empathy for somebody like Lindsey Graham, who has been cheerleading a genocide, versus if you refuse to have empathy for Nancy Pelosi's husband, who has hurt you in no way, who simply just exists, not even like if we showed you a picture of Nancy Pelosi's husband, I gave you 10 pictures and said which one of these is Nancy Pelosi's husband, you wouldn't know. If I asked you what Nancy Pelosi's husband has done that makes you hate him, you wouldn't know. Just like being married to Nancy Pelosi would be it. To me, those aren't the same. Now, I'm still not going to dance on somebody's grave, but I can recognize the difference. And the hardest part is with empathy is that sometimes bad people die, and then you can't have empathy. How do you have empathy for someone who died being evil? You don't. But you can have sympathy for the people who were around them, who loved them. Certainly, there's people in my life that I didn't think were great people that at one point I had close friendships with that have died, and I was sad. I still got sad. But it wasn't like empathy. If you don't have empathy, you're literally a sociopath, or you're mirroring a sociopath, right? And that's what MAGA is. That's why MAGA has turned this way. And I'll play the rest of the video. I know I'm rambling. But if you mirror a movement after a sociopath, you are giving millions of people permission not to care about human life. And that's how all of these people who probably 8 years ago never spoke like this, that's why they speak like this now. Because they've been convinced that empathy is their enemy. Compassion is the enemy.
Newsmax and Fox. I love Gutfeld. I watch him every night.
Those who think they need empathy need a mental health check.
I like him.
I read everything. I go online. I read what the White House is doing. I read what the courts are saying. I read things. I don't watch any media. I don't even have social media. I never even ordered anything from Amazon. How about that?
100,000 people, even more, yeah.
I believe that she doesn't have social media after she said, I've never ordered anything from Amazon.
It was huge, biggest political rally in history. Rumble, I get Rumble, or Gateway Pundit, or Rumble.
You don't need to know news. Biden sucks without news.
Where do you get your news?
How do you know that Biden sucks without news? How do we know? This is exactly like when I was in a cult. And people would be confronted with stuff that my cult did that was wrong, and they'd be like, "I don't believe that. I think the people that report on that just have an axe to grind with the cult, and so I don't listen to any of that. Anything negative, I just tune out." That's what they're all saying. When people are telling you this, that they've been pushed to the corners of the internet, it's because that's how far they have to go to not hear true things. That's how far they have to go to have their biases confirmed. I grew up Mormon. Jeezy, that's the cult I was raised in.
How do you find out about stuff?
Normally I watch Newsmax or OWN, or primarily I'll just scroll on X. I follow a lot of accounts. I'm on Truth Social, stuff like that.
I watch Fox, Newsmax.
Not CNN.
Yeah, not.
That's right.
It used to be Fox News, but I started watching Newsmax. I like Newsmax.
TikTok is the best news. TikTok is the best news.
That guy, for sure, he's on TikTok. I don't know who that is, but we've all probably interacted with that person. You know the people on TikTok. What's up, TikTok? Good to see you guys here, by the way. We all know 10 of this person. I get all my news from Millie. Cool. Oh my God, is that trad? Do we know who this is? Does anybody know who this is, honestly? Somebody's got to know who this is. Isn't that Eric? No, I think Eric is skinnier and has less teeth than that. Play it again? All right.
It used to be Fox News, but I started watching Newsmax. I like Newsmax.
TikTok is the best news. TikTok is the best news. That's where I get all my news from.
Trad is Latino. This person looks Latino, potentially.
Send me a text. You got Officer Tatum.
Officer Tatum. Good Lord.
Gino. Tucker Carlson got his own there.
Hunter Biden is the biggest scumbag in the world.
Hunter I don't know. Whatever, Hunter Biden. It's crazy to think to be this upset. Anybody that's upset about Hunter Biden, get it the fuck together. That is you just being programmed. There is no reason for any of you to hate Hunter Biden. I don't think there's a ton of reasons to like Hunter Biden. I don't find very many reasons to think about Hunter Biden. If you are that obsessed with Hunter Biden, you have been programmed. There is nothing about Hunter Biden that affects your life or has affected your life in any way, shape, or form. He did drugs. So have most people. He got hookers. I don't know what percentage of people have gotten hookers. What else? He got paid for his name. That makes him the biggest scumbag in the world. Yeah, hating Hunter Biden is such a waste of time. They're just jealous of his dick. Yeah.
I watch Newsmax.
We don't watch that CNN. That's Clinton.
Communist,
we don't watch that
Communist
shit.
Network News, exactly.
InfoWars.
InfoWars.
Yeah, Alex Jones gives me all my information.
Alex is like, he knows the future. I mean,
Sorry, am I not supposed to say hookers? Am I supposed to say sex worker? Or, I don't know what I'm supposed to say. Sorry if that was offensive.
he can predict because he's read everything.
I think hooker is a great name, honestly. If I was a sex worker, I would prefer to be called a hooker.
About the globalist, it's all about the globalist.
She paid $69.99 for that beanie.
Yeah.
Democrats are lockstep in with the globalists.
Yeah. Newsmax, Fox News, Newsmax is great too. I love it. I think it's important that we bring back fair journalism. We bring back the truth. I think it's really sad that the ethics in journalism has gone way downhill. We have people who are
right here too. Like, we need to bring back truth in journalism. Who has been sued? Which outlets have been sued and had to pay like multi-$100 million settlements for lying? Newsmax, Fox, OAN. Alex Jones doesn't own News or InfoWars anymore. The Onion owns it. All these places that they're talking about have all been sued and caught lying. And they're like, actually, that's more proof that they're honest.
Or like Rachel Maddow and Joy Reid, who literally spew a bunch of hate and a bunch of bigotry every night on the air and lie to Americans. They're never going to be held accountable.
Rachel Maddow's really good. I find her tone, the way her delivery, sometimes obnoxious. I have this thing where people that aren't that funny try and be funny. Sometimes it bothers me when they're doing the news, and that's a dumb criticism. And I find that with a lot of journalists. But Rachel Maddow is meticulous, and she's fucking brilliant. She's an excellent journalist. She's an excellent narrator. She's really, really good at putting the pieces together and telling a story. There is not a person on Fox, like, you could take all the journalistic ability on Fox News, OAN, and Newsmax combined, and they couldn't hold a candle to Rachel Maddow. I know they just hate her because I don't know, because she says bad things. She's incredible. She's incredible. Yeah, she is. I believe she has a law degree. I don't always love her delivery, but I watch her stuff all the time. Go fact check anything she does. Jay not touching Joy. You know what? I don't know that much about Joy Reid. I can't remember the last thing I watched from Joy Reid. I don't watch MS Now. I'll go through YouTube or Twitter a lot of times. I don't know the last time I saw Joy Reid doing anything. So she might be doing something, but I don't have an opinion on Joy Reid. She was fired a year ago. Yeah, see, shows how much I know. I have no idea.
We have to hold these people accountable.
I just hear the hatred in Rachel Maddow's voice when I don't think she's being a fair journalist when she has so much hatred for Trump. Where it's not just the news. Remember she said that her and Lawrence O'Donnell said that Trump was a Russian asset.
Yeah. That argument is getting better. That argument is aging very well, that Trump is a Russian asset. And shout out Joy Reid. Joy Reid hates white people. Oh, no. Oh. It doesn't like you.
How can you just say something like that without any proof? But yeah, if you watch Newsmax, it's going to be slanted towards the other way. So I understand that.
I just believe that.
How come people named Joy and Sunny are never happy? I have a friend named Sunny. She might be the happiest person I know. I don't know.
It's wrong that people are willing to get up and go to work knowing that the chief and commander could be a pedophile.
Yeah. Oh, that didn't age well. Siam Prince said the second something happens to them, they know what empathy and sympathy is. I don't have much to give MAGA. Fair enough.
I believe that's wrong. And that's why I'm here right there, just 100%. If he is, then he needs to be dealt with, and if he's not, then I believe that he needs his name cleared. Whether he's a senile old bastard or not, that's what's happening. I believe he needs his, I believe it needs
Where do you get, where you get your news? Do you get it online, Telegram?
No, I'm just on TikTok.
Yeah. I can't believe that dude has internet, to be honest. Lawrence was excellent last night about the judge ruling against the $10 billion lawsuit. Was he? I haven't seen that. Lawrence O'Donnell's very good. I'm not huge on Don Lemon. It's just not my style of politics to consume. He's extremely talented. I don't have much to say about whether or not he's factual because I don't watch it. His delivery to me is too political. I don't like that.
I'm not a huge Don Lemon fan either, but that's not a criticism. Most people in politics I can't stand. Do you know how bad Joy Reid had to act to get fired from MSN? Why did she get fired? Did she get fired? Did Joy... they canceled her show. Oh, it was budget cuts? Okay. Do you know how bad you have to be to get fired? Well, didn't Trump get fired from being president? Remember that? Fired for being a black woman? I'm not going to speak on that. I don't know why she got fired. That was a quick Google search. Said it was budget cuts. So, I don't know. All right. Moving on with the cult here. This was Ralph Norman. And this is the type of like questioning that needs to be shown over and over again. And I'm going to show this just to show that they will not confront reality. Ralph Norman has a good life. MAGA, it's nice being MAGA. Like you just go through life, and anything that you don't like, you just pretend it's not real and you move on. If somebody brings it up to you, you just go, no, I don't believe that. But it's one thing when it's Mark. Good to see you, Mark. I'm talking about you. It's one thing when it's that, but it's another thing when it's a member of Congress doing that exact thing.
The rule committee tonight.
Can I get your reaction to the ICE shooting in Maine today?
I hadn't heard about that.
You hadn't heard about that? There was someone was shot by ICE agents in Maine earlier today?
I have not. No, I hadn't heard that. I don't know the details on it.
As the body count for ICE continues to rise, do you regret voting to fund them without any sort of accountability measures or any riders to make sure that they behave in good faith?
Well, this was yesterday morning, so it's possible for him to not know. I think he can be forgiven for that.
ICE agents are here to protect this country and to get the illegals out. They need to be funded.
But they're shooting people down in their cars on American streets.
The ICE agents are doing a job for the American people. They need to.
Where's the answer, bud? Kirsten knows. Kirsten was raised in the same cult that I was. Doesn't this remind you, Kirsten, of everybody in our cult? Joseph Smith had child brides. Joseph Smith was a prophet of God. Joseph Smith is hated by those who talk about him because he restored the gospel of Jesus Christ to this planet. Answer the fucking question. Do you guys get sick of that, or is that just part of like what you like? Mark, do you ever get sick of them just ignoring? Like, he went back to legitimately a talking point. He just repeated a talking point that is not an answer.
Faith.
ICE agents are here to protect this country and to get the illegals out.
Do you regret not adding mechanisms to keep them accountable for when they just kill people in the streets? They're here to keep illegals out. That's not an answer to that question.
They need to be funded.
But they're shooting people down in their cars on American streets.
It's true, right? Your response to that should be, we need to do a better job. Like, they need to be investigated. People that are doing that should be fired. They should be put in jail. Like, that's murder. Anything addressing what he just said would be an answer.
The ICE agents are doing a job for the American people. They need to be funded.
ICE agents are doing a job for the American people. Okay, so murdering people is for the American people. These fucking cowards. This is why we say it's a cult. If you can't answer these questions, and it's from top to bottom. The only people in your party, if you were honest, Marcus, if you're still here, if you were honest, you would say that the only people who ever answer questions in your party are those who are not running for re-election. It's the only ones. You know why he's not answering this? 2 reasons. 1, it doesn't benefit him anyway to answer honestly. And 2, if he answers honestly, the people, you, the voters, will turn on him because you have now created a party where lying is the expectation. Being honest is a real fucking problem. A real fucking problem. We'll get to that a little bit later, but now you guys are going after people who are honest. You're going after whistleblowers. Anybody who dares tell the truth about this administration is an enemy. They're being called traitors.
That's your opinion.
Well, no, it's video.
Murdering? Oh, I'm sorry. Did they not murder people? When ICE kills people, and then they say that's not the person we were after, and they're dead, what would you call it? What's a different word? What's a different word I should use for ICE killing people when they have the wrong target, killing the wrong person? None of these are hypotheticals. These all actually are happening. And this goes to show that maybe you guys just don't know. Maybe you just don't know what's going on. Are you unaware that yesterday ICE killed a man who was legal to work in this country, and they admitted that that was not the target of their investigation, and they killed him? What about Araujo in Houston? Are you aware that ICE admitted that that also wasn't their target, and that that person also had a legal right to work here? Prove it. Go look it up. I'm not your fact checker. I'm tired of you. I'm tired of you lazy fucks. You're on the fucking internet right now. Scroll up. Hit your browser. Google, did ICE admit that Araujo was not the target? Google it. No, Nate, I'm not doing your work for you. I did it yesterday. You can go watch my show yesterday. Give me some more views. You want me to Google it for you? I'll do this right now. Send me $20, either on Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, or a super chat, and I'll stop the show right now and I'll prove it to you. But you're going to pay for me doing your fact checking.
Your opinion.
Why Wednesday and Thursday? Why wait until Wednesday and Thursday to decide?
Imagine getting your news from Jam and Lou. Imagine listening to Jam and Lou. Okay, send me the money, Nate, and I'll fact check it for you.
To decide if you're going to announce for Senate.
Well, you'll find out Wednesday or Thursday.
Well, why not just tell us right now?
I'm not going to do that.
Can we get your reaction?
Because it's all a performance. They're all performative. And by the way, this isn't a right or left issue. Like, we got some performers on the left too.
Can we get your reaction to the president dismantling last week the Election Assistance Commission and why you think he might have done that?
I don't know. The president's made some good calls, though.
Well, I won't criticize the president. I can't do that. The president makes some good calls.
Literally, most of the GOP have stopped defending what he does, and they say he has a good gut. We just trust his gut. That's who you have become. That's no different than the cult that I grew up in. Why are we doing this? Because the prophet talked to God, and God told him so. How do we know he's talking to God? Because we believe he talks to God, because we trust him. Why do you trust him? Because we prayed about it. What did you ask when you prayed? I asked if I should trust him. How did you learn to do that? They told me to ask if they could trust him. What happens to the people who pray and don't trust him? Those people are deceived by Satan and they get thrown out of the cult. Begging for money to fact check the shit you say. But my friend, I'm not begging for money. People pay the money. This is what I do for my job. But yeah, I value my own labor. You might not. Maybe you don't do labor. Whoever you're working for right now, I doubt they're paying you to be on the internet. But yeah, you want me to do your work for you? Pay me, bitch. Sorry. We don't want free stuff, right? Are you asking for socialism? You asking for handouts down there, bitch? You're begging me to do your fact checking for you? You're panhandling your fact check? Pay me. Then I'll fact check for you. Unless you're not MAGA, in which case I'm happy to fact check for you stuff for you guys because I love you. God damn, you fucking losers.
Well, I'm not going to do anything myself.
And even if I fact check it, even if he winds up sending the money to fact check it, I'm going to fact check it, and then you dipshits are going to say something dumb like, "Oh, Google is biased." Yeah, right, like I'm going to trust the internet over my own feelings. But we'll do it. You're going to have to pay. If you're going to make me do this and then you're going to reject it, you have to pay for it. All right, Tim Scott was on CNBC with it's Aaron Sorkin. Is that his name? Is Aaron Sorkin? Is that his name or is that a director? There's different Sorkins. He's asking a fair question here. In order for Republicans right now to justify just how shitty things are going, they have to go back and take Biden's numbers during COVID. Because if they start when Trump took over, the only logical conclusion, which Sorkin is going to show here, the only logical conclusion is Trump has made things worse. So the only way that you can defend what Trump is doing is by saying, well, one time it was worse before when Biden was president, but only for like a couple years. By the end, it was better than it is now, but for a couple years during COVID, it was worse.
Because we've been talking about the president, and you can like a lot of the policies of the president, and I'm not going to dissuade you of those policies, but just on the basic facts of measuring where we are today versus before, and by the way, I'm getting a lot of emails and texts from people. You know, the stock market clearly is better off, but just on the math, we have more debt, inflation numbers worse, consumer prices worse, unemployment is worse, jobs number is worse. Technically, you could argue the GDP number is stable / maybe worse. So, but that's just empirical math. And I'm not making a judgment. I'm just saying you're making.
Can I just point out that while he's saying this, MAGA is just hurling insults. This is like cult behavior. They're giving, when data is presented and you start criticizing me, Sheltsy, talking to you specifically, that's some real cult shit you're doing. I don't want to hear any of this. I'm going to yell. I'm going to scream that this guy's a loser. How dare he criticize our Lord and Savior Donald Trump?
From when he left office.
Yes,
but
from when he left office.
His inflation averaged 5%.
I understand
that. Unemployment.
It's from when he left office, and that's how people measure.
Okay, 4.3 to 4.4% unemployment is still so. Those are that was a total that was an exercise in sophistry. If you're comfortable with that, that's fine.
It's not fair that you're comparing Trump's record to when he took over. It's not fair that you're pointing out that everything has gotten worse since he started being president. Why aren't you going back? Why aren't you including things that he didn't have anything to do with? Tim Scott, ha 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 ha. Yeah, that's right. Donald Trump got elected to fix shit. He broke it. He made it worse. Deal with it. If you have an argument, provide an argument. This is why Democrats have won. And Democrats, for the record, trash, suck. They don't do a goddamn thing. And this is how they've won 100% of contested elections since Trump took office. Because he didn't deliver on anything. Everything is just getting worse. You're literally having to go back 6 years during a global pandemic and being like, see, it was worse then. Why aren't I comparing Trump's best numbers to Biden's worst numbers? Yeah, thank you. We're not even comparing Biden and Trump. We're comparing Trump to Trump. You took over, and here's where it was. Like, if you took over a business, no matter what had happened in the past with the business, if you took over a business, and then instead of increasing revenues, you increased debt, and then you had to do a bunch of layoffs, and then your productivity went down, nobody would be like, he's doing a great job because somebody else did a bad job before. No, it's worse. It's worse now than when he took over. That is a fact. And it's a fact that you seem to be uncomfortable with. Tim Scott's certainly uncomfortable with. And what's this dipshit's name again? Why have I forgotten his name? It's just like Trump ball scrubber jumps in. It's not fair that you did that.
Go ahead, Senator.
Yeah, Andrew, there's no doubt. You've got to take both presidencies in aggregate. The bottom line is simply this, that the average American was losing over $1,000 a month in spending power because of Joe Biden's policies.
And now we're losing more. This is a 3-year-old talking point. Fine. Americans lost spending power under Joe Biden. True. Have they regained that spending power? Or has it gotten worse? It's gotten worse. Tired of these guys lying to you yet? MAGA? At what point? Do you just have to wait till you can physically see it in your check? At what point are you going to wait to be like, all right, I'm tired of being lied to? I can be like, I'm being critical. I understand how hard it is to leave a cult. It took me like 30 plus years. I get it. I'm just trying to help you do it quicker than I did. Because once you're out, you feel really fucking stupid for the stuff that you believed.
The first thing he did as president was pass a $1.9 trillion spending package.
If we average all 4 years together of the Biden administration, I agree.
That gave cash away. And the bottom line is this. Americans were worse off under President Biden economically. Under President Trump, they're better off.
The bottom line is this. And then he says something that is a lie. Not a lie. Zach, give me one lie that the Democrats have told me this week. By the way, I'm not a Democrat, and I don't like Democrats. And sometimes Democrats do lie. That's true. But address this. Tell me one lie that they did. But actually, Zach, tell me this. And rather than doing whataboutism, I'm going to stop letting you guys do that. What has gotten better under Trump? Zach?
What part of your life has gotten better?
Real
And
wages were
frankly,
down.
I'm not arguing on behalf of President Biden or somebody else. All I'm just
saying
suggesting
the
is there are
critical
people
facts.
listening to you, Senator.
It's probably bad TV for us to talk over each other, by the way. So I don't want to make your show worse because it's one of the best shows on TV, guys. But I just want to say that.
Who cares? ICE is getting rid of the trespassers. That's Shelty wants you to know that the biggest issue was trespassing. Who cares if we can't afford anything? Who cares if we're on the verge of a financial collapse that the government is propping up right now? Who cares if we're spending all of our money on pointless wars? Who cares if people don't have jobs? Who cares if people can't afford houses? At least the immigrants are leaving. Boom. Good job, bud. How would I like you and your family to bust into your home? I probably wouldn't. Probably wouldn't. But that's not what's happening. Just like, how would you like it if me and my family drove into your city? You wouldn't notice. See how you have to make absurd arguments? I live in Arizona. Illegal immigration didn't affect me in the slightest. In fact, the mass deportations and the ICE raids have hurt our economy. These idiots were cut off their nose to spite their face. It's ridiculous and fucking stupid. Yeah, I think it's cut off their nose to spite their face, but yeah. Things have gotten harder for farmers in Arizona. I know I sound stupid because I'm giving facts, and that's I get that. For MAGA, that sounds, hey, if you aren't repeating what Donald Trump says, you're stupid.
Take the numbers and take a deep look at them. The average American feels better today.
Guy calling me stupid. I live in South Florida. All right, bud. That actually explains why I sound stupid to you.
Than they did in the challenging years of the Biden administration, which basically were 4 challenging
And Senator,
years.
I think that's especially true if you have money in the stock market. All I'm suggesting is I think that those who are measuring from the end of the Biden presidency to today may take a different view, or at least would they look at the numbers differently. Jamal.
All right. This made me laugh. Nick Shirley was on with Alex Jones. I'd like to remind everybody, Nick Shirley has uncovered, as of today, $0 and 0 cents of fraud. And if he had uncovered fraud, somebody in the chat would be able to tell me specifically the name of the business and the amount of fraud that he uncovered. Instead, they're going to say things like a bunch of people are going to say Leering Center. Just a bunch. Even though I've said it already, they're just going to say Leering Center. Here comes Bud. Yeah, Bud just got semi-hard, which is fully hard in Bud's world. But here's something that Nick, apparently a congressman, he won't tell us who, said to him at the UFC fight at the White House.
You got approached by a congressman. You said you're willing to tell the story at the UFC this weekend.
Yeah, it was interesting. When I went to the UFC fight at the White House, a congressman came up to me and he said something that I had never really thought about. And he said to me, he's like, thank you so much for your work.
Okay, Mike, are you fucking kidding me, man? Yeah, Mike, tell me the name of the business and the amount of fraud that they committed. This should be easy because he's exposed so much. Name one business and the amount of fraud. If you can't, we're left to think that you just believe Nick Shirley.
And I just want to let you know that because of all the fraud that you've exposed, that essentially like the war on Iran has been free because of you, because of all the money that I've helped recoup and expose, and the money that's going to be saved in the future is in $200-300 billion.
I believe this story. I believe somebody told Nick Shirley this. I believe that this story happened. He has exposed $0 and 0 cents of fraud. I believe that the congressman who told him that believes that. This is an exercise in how stupid is your entire fucking party. They keep calling, Jack, I'm a complete moron. I get it. But the name of the business, Jack, that Nick Shirley exposed and the amount of fraud. And yes, you can. Somebody asked if you can call in. You message GenDub1 on Discord. That's what we use for our audio. So go to Discord, message JENNDUBB1 on Discord. She'll bring you up. You can tell me the name of the business and the amount of money that was exposed, fraud that they committed. Tanya said we hit the gift goal. Thank you, Tanya. Angie said, they said yesterday housing is now the most expensive it has ever been. So much for more affordable. Yeah. And even if you account for inflation, it is the most expensive it's ever been. Housing used to be, at the best times in America, the price of a house was generally 3 times your annual salary. The average American, somewhere between $70,000 and $80,000 is the average salary. And that's a weird number because it includes the disproportionate amount of wealth from the top. But let's just say that the average American makes $70,000. The average house isn't $210,000. Look at this. Look how mad you are. All of you are so mad. You're joking, right? No, I'm not joking. Once again, the name of the company, you dumb fucks, the name of the company, and the amount of fraud that Nick Shirley exposed. You can keep screaming insults. You can stay as mad as you want in the comments, or you can give me the name of the company and the amount of money he exposed. James, I don't get paid a lot of money for this, but James, instead of insulting me, the name of the company and the amount exposed. Future Leaders Early Learning, 4.6 million. Future Leaders Early Learning. And Nick Shirley exposed this, right? Let's see. You said 4.6 million? Is that right? Oh, this is Fahima Muhammad. Yeah, that wasn't him. He didn't expose that. Go find me in any part in any of his journalism where he exposed that. This has been going on. This investigation into them has been going on, I think, since 2024, long before. In fact, I covered this before Nick Shirley did. Want to try again? Again, don't get confused, MAGA. People commit fraud. There was fraud in Minnesota. There is fraud in California. We all knew about it. You didn't. We knew about it because Minnesota and California actively were prosecuting people, and places like CNN reported on it. Nick Shirley took stuff that had already been reported and stole everybody else's work and claimed it was his work. It wasn't. You won't find a single dollar that Nick Shirley exposed. He just told you stuff that was already in the news. There's insane fraud. I mean, there's fraud in every state. It's silly. The Learning Center got 5.4 million. No, they didn't. No, that's not true. What fraud did they commit? What was the fraud that the Learning Center committed? And where was the evidence? Saturday said, I'm in Cottonwood, Arizona. The Speedway gas station was out of regular unleaded. They only had Supreme. I paid $4.79, $50 for half a tank. Jesus Christ.
It's in the hundreds of billions of dollars. Like, this will not just impact this year. It's going to keep making impacts for, hopefully, for the future.
That's kind of a backhanded compliment, though. Son, you saved $300 billion, and we used it for bombs. Good job.
Yeah,
our entire war. Son, your savings helped the Emperor build the Death Star.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, but it did just put it into perspective.
No, it's great what you did. What they did with the money is their issue, but yeah.
Yeah, very interesting.
Mike, I think it's hilarious you want facts now. Of course you think it's hilarious when we ask you for facts, Mike. Your insults are fucking generic, man. Can you come up with something specific so we can have a real conversation?
Perspective. I was like, I've never thought about that. But
every
dollar, if you think about
every dollar I make is just bitching on YouTube. That's not true. Your dad paid me $50 to come in his face last night. Most of at least half my income is from closeted MAGA dads.
For the years to come, the changes that they're making will impact next 10 years.
All right. So Nick Shirley didn't expose anything. Once again, fraud exists. People expose fraud all the time. Nick Shirley has exposed no fraud. You're just dumb. I think we got that cleared. No, how long did we go? 10 minutes. 10 minutes. 10 minutes we gave all of them the opportunity to give us one example, not a single example from any of them. Randy, somebody said Randy's calling in. Jen, let me know if Randy messages you. That'd be great. And now, on top of all this, our awesome Department of Defense, who will not tell us where money is going, can't pass an audit, just unilaterally murders people all across the world. Now they need $350 billion more. And here's Mike Johnson to explain what they're going to use it for.
There's been a lot of discussion about what's going to be included in this reconciliation bill. Can you walk through how important and how imminent it is that the Pentagon needs additional funding and what that number precisely is going to be in the reconciliation bill?
The question was, can you list the specifics of what the request is for the Pentagon? We've seen it's over $350 billion as a request. And some of this is transformational kind of funding that will help us change the dynamic of the Department of War and make it more efficient and effective. It's already the greatest.
How would $350 billion make you more efficient and effective? Wouldn't you make things more efficient and effective on your current budget? That doesn't say needing $350 billion more when you're inefficient and can't pass an audit. How would giving you more money make you more efficient and effective?
Fighting force on the planet, not even close. But there are some ideas, a real vision on how to improve that even further, to bolster that. You've heard the president talk about how he wants to effectively double the funding for national defense. Look, we live in dangerous times.
No, we don't. No, we don't. Who's attacking us? Violent crime is at like all-time lows. MAGA? What are these violent, scary times we're living in? Are there countries trying to bomb us right now? Nah. They just tell you to be scared, and you're like, okay, I'm scared. Yeah, seriously, John P. What should we be afraid of right now? Here we go. I like it. I like when this is what happens when you don't have answers. When the insults increase, this is when I know that we're getting under your skin. I said we lived in dangerous times when I simped for the Russian-Ukraine war. I never simped for that, and I never said we lived in dangerous times. I said that we should support Ukraine because they were invaded by Russia. Good try on the whataboutism. Yeah, there we go, Zach. You understand the insults don't matter, right? Every time I do this, what we're showing, because I do this every day, when I ask you guys for specifics and you come with insults, who does that look bad for? Me or you? Who looks dumb? Me or you? We should be afraid of Democrats fear-mongering. Yeah.
We're afraid of the Democrats. Oh no, those Democrats are going to get us.
That's a good timing for you to say that, because here's what he says.
Dangerous times. We're fighting communism on our own shores. And
we're fighting communism on our own shores.
Where, bitch? Fucking where, bitch? Who? Tell me a communist. Name a communist in our country. Name one. You're all going to name democratic socialists. There aren't any. We're not fighting communism. And why would we need the military budget? Because the military budget isn't used to fight things on our own shores. Tell us where the communists are hurting you. Point to them. Where are they?
Muslims.
Muslims aren't communists. Muslim, like that's the Islamic religion. That's a religion. Are you honestly this fucking scared of everything? Like,
be afraid of the communists. Okay, I'm scared of them. We better give the military $350 billion. We're living in dangerous times. We are? It's crazy that nothing bad is ever happening to us. It's crazy that nobody ever attacks us. But Mike Johnson said we're living in scary, dangerous times. And now the communists? What are we going to do?
Meanwhile, they just steal all the money. Meanwhile, our president is just literally out running like crypto scams and making billions of dollars. The billionaires in this country have bought our entire government. And I don't mean like they bought the politicians. I mean our government is giving them our government. Yeah, you can run our space program. That's fine. Yeah. Why don't you guys just be all of our intelligence? Why don't you run the entire intelligence operation? That's fine. We totally trust you, Alex Karp.
But the communists? And what about the scary Muslims that are coming to get us? Did you see that they were praying in public? What are we going to do? They're praying. Somebody call the military. They're praying.
Why am I yelling with this voice? Oh, that's my MAGA voice. That's what you guys sound like. You guys are the most scared group of pussies I've ever seen in my life. They can just make up a word. They're like, the Telmuggles are coming.
Not the Telmuggles. Those radical socialist, communist, fascist Telmuggles. We better increase the military budget ASAP.
There we go, Chelsea. We finally ran you out of here. Yeah. That's what you sound like, man. That's like, maybe that's not your exact voice. That's exactly what you losers sound like in the chat. We're scared. What are you scared of? I don't know. The Leering Center, I think. Communists, I think. Did you hear that somebody chanted death to America? We're scared. What are you so fucking scared of? Well, now I'm scared of the Democrats. What if they win an election? Oh, no. What if we get money out of politics? Oh, no. What are you going to do? I don't want health care. I don't want anybody to have health care. I want to pay the most in the world for health care. And I want those CEOs to make millions of dollars. I'm scared that that will go away. What are you guys afraid of? I don't get it. It's so easy to scare you.
Fighting evil terrorists and tyrants around the world. And we have to
who are these evil terrorists and tyrants we're fighting around the world?
Be able to protect our national security. So this is not the place to get into the details of that.
Yeah, of course.
There's been a lot.
We don't really do details in MAGA, do we? We don't really do that. All right. Check these. I think I missed. Purdy Kiki, thank you so much for the gifted subs. And this is a good reminder to you guys. Being a subscriber helps us a great deal. It allows us to kind of judge what our budget is every single month. And it goes a long way. Hopefully at some point, we don't have to do like the gift goal every day. We can just do the super chats when you guys want to. When we get to a certain level of subscribers, that matters. They're as cheap as, I think, even $3 now. I think it's the cheapest one you can get is $3 on YouTube. YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok all offer monthly subscriptions anywhere from $3 to $20. So if you don't want to do the daily stuff and you want to support us monthly, you can do so on any of those platforms. And if you have Amazon Prime, you can go over to Twitch. You can log in with your Amazon Prime and you can use a free subscription. Jeff Bezos will pay for it. You don't have to pay a dime, and that goes to us. And just a reminder, even if you're not a paid subscriber, make sure wherever you're watching today that you're following us. And that way, when we go live, you'll know that we're live. All right, let's keep going with this. Here is Senator Angus King. He is talking to, I think it's Jules Hurston. Jules Hurston is nominated right now to be the Undersecretary of Defense, or the comptroller. And he's testifying before Congress about this. And this isn't like just a MAGA thing. This is a military thing. They never pass an audit, and they never tell any of us where they're spending their money or how much things cost, which I think, I don't know how this is a partisan issue. It shouldn't be. It's not a partisan issue all the time. Just depends on which party's in power. And I would agree that Democrats, like when Joe Biden was in charge, they spent a far less time talking about the military budget. And I would criticize Biden for that. I did. And it's pathetic. At some point, we've got to get our military budget under control. But it's going to start with them telling us the truth.
Mr. Hurst, I'm unpersuaded by your...
You are the problem.com 187, says Shane. Take that.com. And Albuquerque, New Mexico, USA, thank you for the $10. Appreciate that. Oh, I missed some of these. Shane said, Shelty, more people have died in ICE custody since Trump took office than the last 3 other presidents combined. Marlene said, love that Alex Jones admitted Trump is Emperor Palpatine. Okay, got that. Jen, did I hear you cut in?
Yeah, he should be joining shortly.
Okay, I'll play this video and then hopefully he's in.
Professions of ignorance about the cost of the war. You were the acting comptroller and chief financial officer of the Department of Defense.
Sorry that volume's so low.
Since until May 20th. That's about 7 weeks ago. And to sit here today and say, well, I don't really know and I'm not in the position, come on, you had to know this question was going to come up at this hearing today. How much has the Iran war cost the American people?
Senator King, I will give you the same answer I gave you during the posture hearing, that it was $29 billion at the time I left the position. If confirmed, I'm going to work
Does
with this.
that $29 billion include damage to facilities and assets in the region?
No, Senator. That estimate did not include military construction. Again, we don't know what the posture is going to be. There are lessons learned from military construction from this conflict. I would say one of these is that the United States needs to invest more in hard.
We don't deserve an answer. We don't deserve to know how much things cost from the military. All right, Jen, I see Randy. Randy, I'll be with you in a second.
And deeply buried facilities, particularly in these kinds of areas, but it doesn't reflect MILCON.
So that's not part of the estimate. What the estimate that you gave of $29 billion was simply essentially munitions and expenditures in direct result of the conflict.
Senator, yeah, I would characterize that estimate as largely munitions. From memory, it was over $20 billion in munitions, and most of the rest of that was operational cost, whether that's fuel.
In preparing for this hearing, you didn't ask any questions about updating that number?
I felt it would be inappropriate to do so because that's not in my current role in the department.
Well, I think it's very frustrating to the American people that we can't get a straight answer on what this war is costing. Not to mention what it's costing and has cost the American people at the gas pump and in other costs.
Yeah, why would we ever get an answer, you know? Why would we ever get that? Pete Hegseth refuses to answer every single time. Let's hop over here. Randy, you there?
Yes, hello.
Hey, appreciate you. One thing real quick, just make sure if you're watching the stream to mute that or we'll get feedback.
Okay, let me do that 1 second.
It's a little bit on a delay.
Alrighty, there. We good?
Yeah, we're good. Thanks for coming up. I'm not sure exactly what you disagreed with. You take the floor. You can tell me what you want to talk about.
Thank you for having me. Is there any particular topic you would like to discuss? Anything of the day, something?
Brother, I don't know what you believe. Jen said that you, she sent me the messages that you disagree with basically everything I stand for. So if you want to pick something we're talking about, that'd be fine.
Well, well, okay. So I would like to, did you vote for Trump? Do you agree with Trump?
I did not vote for Trump, no.
Okay. Do you agree with Trump? Do you like him as president?
I'm sure there's maybe some things we agree on. I think he's historically probably the worst president we've ever had.
I actually would like to, I actually disagree. I think he is probably the best president since JFK.
What's he doing that is working, that you like so much?
Working? Nothing, but he is actually working against the infiltration of foreign agents in the American government.
Foreign agents from where?
Specific, hypothetically speaking, of course, but let's just say APAC, like for example.
Okay.
So our government has been infiltrated.
You think he's working against APAC? You think he's working against APAC?
50-50.
What is it? What do you mean 50-50? What does that mean?
As long as they have him on a leash and he keeps getting their money, he's going to keep doing their bidding.
So he's not working against them.
America. 50-50. Everyone bets 50 towards themselves and 50 towards A and 50 towards B. Just like the Rothschild.
I have no idea what you mean by that. I have no idea what you mean by that. Is Trump working against APAC or not?
No, he's working with APAC.
Oh, and you want him to work with APAC?
I mean, he's no. I don't want anyone to work with any type of PAC of any sort.
So that's where I'm confused. Okay, so that's where I'm confused because you said he's working to like get rid of these like foreign agents, but he's doing that by working with foreign agents?
Yes. Because so Trump is a necessary evil at this point, right? So whether it would have been Kamala, everything would have just like for example, if Kamala Harris, right, if she had gotten elected, it would have just been the same old, just spinning the wheel. You know,
Well,
everybody gets their little sip
Didn't
of
she want to
water,
end the
whatever.
war? Didn't she want to stop the Israeli aggression in the Gaza Strip?
That's what she said, but who was she funded by?
I mean, I don't remember if she took AIPAC money specifically, but again, but Trump did,
most
right?
definitely did. They both did. They both did.
Okay, so
But
what's
Trump is basically,
so what's he doing then to stop this?
Okay, so Trump right now is playing a very smart game. He's not playing checkers. He's
4D
playing
chess. 4D chess, right?
Yes,
Gotcha.
4D chess.
Yeah, sure.
4D chess times 2 squared.
Okay.
It's really like, I'm not even joking. So okay, I'm sure you're familiar with the honeypot trap. You know, you get somebody on a scandal, on a tape. All right, so Trump has been involved in a bunch of nefarious activities. I'm sure they have a lot of blackmail on him. So he pretends to be their friend, pretends to, you know, whatever, accepts their money, do their bidding. But in all reality, he hates his handlers.
Yeah,
So
but
as soon as he can,
wait, but I don't care. Wait, but I don't care if he hates his handlers. I want him to stop being handled.
So, okay, that's the point, right? So Kamala would have just continued being handled, or anybody else, right?
But you're saying that's what Trump is doing, is he's being handled.
For the moment, he has to play the game.
Brother, you're an adult. You're
listen,
you're an adult. Listen, respectfully, you're an adult human fucking being, and you don't know Donald Trump.
Yeah.
This is an insane fucking thing that you're saying. You have no idea what Donald Trump is thinking. You have invented a hypothetical of Donald Trump later. Hold on. Excuse me. You have created a false hypothetical, imagining that someday Donald Trump will emerge as a hero. I grew up in a cult. This is what people in cults say. Yeah, I know it seems crazy now, but just wait. Like you're literally the epitome of everything I've been talking about today. You are a person who came up here and said Donald Trump is completely corrupt and it's a plan and someday he'll come out and expose it. Why doesn't he just expose it now?
Again, the 4D chess, brother.
Why doesn't he expose it now? No. 4D chess is a made up thing. I need you to use real words. Why doesn't he expose it now?
Okay. So if he exposes it now, he risks exposing and destroying himself and his family.
Okay, so he's corrupt. He's corrupt.
Yeah, guilty and corrupt.
Great, we agree. He's corrupt and he's being handled, and he's using the presidency to enrich. And he's using the presidency to enrich his family. And enrich himself. And so that's why you like Donald Trump, because he's corrupt, he's a pussy and won't expose it, and he's using it to enrich himself. That's why you like Trump.
For the moment, this is what he is doing. Yes.
But you don't know what he's going to do in the future because you can't tell the future.
Well, I have some little birdies.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Okay, I don't then. All right.
Yeah, I mean, you don't. So what do you know? What do you know? His advisors? You know Stephen Miller or something?
I have people that are close to his.
Respectfully, like I'm a serious person, and I thought this was going to be serious. This is some of the dumbest fucking shit I've ever heard in my fucking life. You got to get
we haven't even begun.
Excuse me. You got to get your shit together. You're a grown-up human being on the I'm explaining. You are a grown-up human being on the internet right now lying, saying that you have sources that Trump is going to expose this later. This is This is some of the dumbest fucking shit I've ever heard from. I used to do this for a living. I would debate people for a living. This is psychotic. You got to get a hold. I'm not done yet. You got to get a hold of yourself, sir.
You're living in a delusional land.
You need to have more self-respect.
Telling everybody else they're wrong.
Excuse me. You need to have more self-respect than coming up. Excuse me. You need to have more self-respect than coming on the internet and saying, "Hey guys, I know something you don't know. I know that what Donald Trump is doing right now is completely corrupt, but he has a plan. Trust me. My name's Randy."
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's fucking stupid.
Correct. How so?
Because you don't have any evidence, and you're lying to yourself, and you're lying to us. You don't have any. My friend.
So what is your stance?
My friend.
What is your stance?
My friend.
What is your stance?
My friend. You don't have
on RTP, and you're wrong, and I'm gonna yell,
my friend,
and scream until I get what I want.
My friend. You don't have any sources, and you and I both know you're lying about that.
Okay, all right. Let's agree to disagree.
No, let's not agree to disagree. Let's agree that you be a grown-up right now. You don't have sources. You're Randy from the fucking internet.
Okay, yes, I am Randy from the fucking internet.
Admit that you don't have sources.
Let's start there.
Yeah,
Yes,
now admit that you don't have.
sources.
Okay, great. So this is a fairy tale that you're telling yourself to support Donald
Anything
Trump.
else
And
you
I
would like
suspect,
me for
well,
admit?
I suspect that the reason you support Donald Trump is that you have been indoctrinated to hate specific groups of people, and so now you're coming.
I'm Jewish. I'm Jewish.
So
who would I hate?
Probably immigrants if you're a Trump supporter.
I'm an immigrant myself.
From where?
Israel.
What part?
Haifa.
When did you immigrate?
2001.
All right. Are you a Zionist?
No, anti-Zionist.
Anti-Zionist. Okay. So what does Trump give you then? What do you like about Trump besides this made-up hypothetical where he's going to save the world?
Okay, so can I continue with my hypothetical? Is that okay?
No, it's not a hypothetical. It's a dream that you're making up. I need you to talk about real things. I'm not even remotely interested in this story that you've told yourself of how Trump is going to save the world.
Okay, so what would you like me to do?
I would like you to explain how you can sit back and watch Donald Trump fuck over our country every single day, lie every single day, and still support him.
Okay, so I'm gonna address that. Okay, so Donald Trump right now is not following what he is supposed to be doing as far as Constitution, as far as his responsibilities to American people. It's because he cannot.
It's because what?
Because America, he cannot. He honestly cannot.
Why?
Because all of our money is going to Israel, it's a welfare nation.
He signs off on that money. He signs off on that money.
Exactly. So until he cannot sign off on that,
he doesn't have to sign off. He can veto.
I mean, did you see what happened to JFK and the rest of his family? Pretty unfortunate, history will repeat itself.
No, well, I'm sorry. I'll take a president who's not a pussy then. I guess Donald Trump's just a pussy and you're going to defend that. Then let's get okay. So there's people
he is everything.
Great. So let's stop supporting him and let's advocate for people who will stand up to Israel and stop covering for pedophiles.
I agree, but what are you saying? That to go to the Democrat route?
And there's people in the Democratic Party. There's people in the Republican Party who would stand up to Israel. He's not one of them. You could support Thomas Massey if you wanted to. You could support Ro Khanna if you wanted to. You could support AOC. You could support Bernie Sanders. You could support Elizabeth Warren.
AOC is a horse-faced cunt.
Excuse me. I'm going to give you one opportunity to take that back. I'm going to give you one opportunity to apologize what you just said about AOC. Don't talk about women that way.
AOC can lick my nuts.
AOC wouldn't touch you with a 10-foot pole. 10-foot pole. You're too fucking stupid for her to even talk to. You're disgusting. And I just respectfully. Go fuck yourself. You're a loser, man. You're on the internet. You are on the internet right now screaming about conspiracy theories. You just went after AOC, who is smarter and better than you in every fucking way possible. You're a pathetic existence for a human. And I think like the best thing that you could do is go get some friends. I think you should get rid of the internet. I think you should cancel your subscription to the internet. I think you should get a cell phone that doesn't have internet connection, and you should get off of the internet. You aren't smart enough to be on the internet. And then you just like immediately, like here comes the sexism. AOC says, I don't want to send money to Israel. I want to take money. I want to take corporate money and foreign lobby money out of the government. And because your sexist, pathetic, small-brained ass couldn't handle that, you go and you start smearing her. AOC has done more for this country and for her own life than you ever will, and that you ever could accomplish in a million lifetimes. You're pathetic. You're small. I'm embarrassed that we spent any time talking to you. Your defense of Donald Trump is exactly what we thought your defense of Donald Trump was going to be. It's going to be all fairy tales about how someday Donald Trump's going to be a hero. I hope you stub your toe every step you take the rest of the day. And please don't come back. All right, there we go. That was fucking insane. Sorry about that. You're embarrassed I'm a Dem in 2026. If you're embarrassed by me right now and not that guy, good for you. Good for you. Let's get back to the show. I'm sorry. That was fucking pathetic. Even by like MAGA standards, that was pathetic. Speaking of Thomas Massey, by the way, let me see. Did any comments come in? I want to make sure. I forget to check those when I'm live.
Like I said, I didn't have faith in that conversation.
That was bad. Jen, thank you for the $5 over on PayPal. Appreciate that. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Gave it our best. I'm not going to do that. We don't need debates that badly. Okay, I want to get to Thomas Massey because I just thought this was funny, and I don't think I need to add any context here, except for if you don't know what Thomas Massey is joking about. A bunch of Republicans came out and said the exact same thing. I had a 20-minute conversation with Mitch McConnell, and they all, for some reason, said 20 minutes. That's pretty on brand for MAGA. And Massey was stopped on the steps of Congress yesterday and had this to say.
Question: as a Kentuckian, were you convinced by Chairman McConnell's photo with the newspaper from the hospital bed?
Well, you know, I had a 20-minute conversation, nearly 20 minutes, with Senator McConnell. And
wait, really? No.
Okay. And he said we should stop spying on Americans, quit bankrupting the country, and stop starting
these. I'm so sorry. I forgot the video. I forgot I hadn't switched it. I'm sorry. We'll start it over. My bad.
Okay. And last question: as a Kentuckian, were you convinced by Chairman McConnell's photo with the newspaper from the hospital bed?
Well, you know, I had a 20-minute conversation, nearly 20 minutes, with Senator McConnell. And
wait, really?
No?
Okay.
And he said we should stop spying on Americans, quit bankrupting the country, and stop starting these new wars. And he expressed, his sadness that I lost my primary. And but it appears that a lot of people had this 20-minute conversations.
Everybody's having 20-minute conversations with McConnell.
We just need to start having them publicly.
Are you?
I also had a 20-minute conversation with Mitch McConnell, but I unfortunately was subject to one of his pausing episodes, so he was just quiet the entire time and stared blankly into space.
On the rules this week.
I can't remember what that question was at the end. I don't think he answers that question at the end. Okay. More of the nonsense. And apparently, Jen, did you find out, did Trump backtrack on charging tolls in the Strait of Hormuz? Did you ever find that?
I shared an article in our chats
You did?
that someone sent. I don't remember who posted it.
Okay, I'll look for that. Trump tweeted or truthed out, the Hormuz Strait is open and will remain open with or without Iran. We are reinstating the Iranian blockade, so named because it's only stopping Iran ships or customers from entering or leaving. All other countries will have fair and open use of the strait. The USA will be, from this point forward, known as the guardian of the Hormuz Strait. But as such, and as a matter of fairness, we will be reimbursed at the rate of 20% on all cargo shipped for any and all costs necessary to do the job of providing safety and security to this very volatile section of the world. The process and formation will begin immediately. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. I don't know why he's yelling at us all the time, but I want to quote him accurately. And here he was on that insane interview yesterday.
It was a done deal, and then they broke it. They always break it. We've had 10 deals with these people, and so we're just going to hit them very hard. And we're gonna keep the strait, and we'll probably run it. We'll become the guardian of the strait. Maybe we'll call it the guardian angel of the strait. And we should be reimbursed for that. When we do
So
that,
stupid. It's so stupid.
we're going to be reimbursed because the other nations are very wealthy. They're on our side, and we can't be expected to do that for nothing, unlike we had for many years. You know, we guarded the strait for 50 years more.
No, we didn't.
And we never got paid for it. They made all the money, and the United States was just, not.
They weren't charging for that either.
They wouldn't. It's amazing. It's we never made. We guarded it for nothing, and now we're going to guard it. And we're going to get paid for guarding it. A lot of money, but we just want.
All right. So he says we're going to charge tolls, 20% tolls. CNN, as always. There's always a clip. There's just always a clip with Trump. And it's not just because Trump's a liar. I want to be clear on that.
It's also because he's really fucking stupid. And he has the memory of a goldfish. And he doesn't have any real principles. So he just says whatever he thinks in the moment, which some people like Randy call 4D chess. I call it a mental breakdown of somebody whose mental capacity was diminished from birth. He believes, he loves talking about like genetics. It seems that everybody in his family is pretty fucking stupid. So maybe he's right about that. But here's a montage CNN rolled of all the times that members of the Trump administration talked about how you just can't charge tolls.
It's an international waterway. No country is allowed to charge tolls or fees on an international waterway. That's existing international law.
First of all, we believe international waterways should be free of tolls, and that's been our position. That's what you see, of course, in the 60 days of the MOU.
I know of no country on the planet that supports tolling or a fee for the use of the straits.
And trying to impose a tolling system. Iran's plan, a form of international extortion, is unacceptable.
Trump is placing a floating buoy for boats to drop an envelope on the honor system to pass through the strait.
There's zero support among the Gulf countries for any sort of toll or fees or anything that charges for the use of international waters. The president's made it clear that's not going to happen.
Whoops. Randy, for the record, everybody does know I never want to debate you again. That's true. I never want to speak to you again. I hope I don't ever have to speak to anybody like you again. You're incoherent. And you didn't even take the advice that we gave you. Get off the internet, man. Go touch grass. Go read a book. Do something. You came up here today to tell us that Donald Trump was corrupt and that's why you liked him, because someday he was going to hop into that phone booth and come out in the Superman costume and change everything. 20% of what? I don't fucking know. Hey, howdy, the cargo, the value of their cargo. It was stupid when he said it. Everything he says is stupid. And people just have to keep pretending like he's an actual sane person. And now we have this administration going after the ICC. Now, it is true that the United States is not necessarily subject to the ICC. In 1987 we basically told them to fuck off, and then you can hear whatever story they want to tell you about why we are not subject to the ICC. The reason that we don't want to be subject to the ICC is that we are war criminals, that we use our military for evil purposes, and we have been for a very long time. We like murdering innocent people. We like invading other countries. It props up our economy. It makes us feel tough. It makes us feel like we are accomplished bullies. And we don't really want the ICC stepping in and telling us not to murder innocent people or fund genocides. And so now that the ICC and basically everybody in the world has concluded that Israel committed and is still committing a genocide, and that the United States is complicit in it. Now we have Marco Rubio using his time to try and smear the ICC.
Years, Americans have governed ourselves as a free and sovereign people. We choose our own leaders, we determine our own laws, and when we're accused of a crime, we stand for judgment before a jury of our own peers. This is the essential and indispensable feature of our form of government. It is the foundation of our shared way of life. But today, powerful people in faraway places want to take that away from us. They believe that they should be in charge of your laws, of your country, your life, and they don't care whether or not you agree. Halfway across the world, there's an institution that calls itself the International Criminal Court. Maybe you've heard of it.
I've heard of it.
Maybe you haven't.
I have.
But chances are you don't know the names of its judges.
Well, most people don't know the names of the judges. And if I polled Americans and said, name the Supreme Court justices, like less than 10% would be able to do that.
Of its prosecutors or its
name our prosecutors. Name 4 U.S. attorneys to the average American. They don't know.
President. And you shouldn't have to.
Oh.
But as we speak, the ICC and its friends are waging a war against our country. Not with bullets or missiles.
Oh.
With statutes, and compacts, and the force of so-called international law.
They're attacking us with claims that we're invading other countries and committing war crimes because we're invading other countries and committing war crimes. How dare they attack us and tell us that we shouldn't bomb schools full of children? How dare they attack us by saying that you don't need to blow up entire apartment buildings? How dare they accuse us of assassinating world leaders? How dare they? Yeah, they're just telling the truth about the United States. And when you're corrupt and you are MAGA, people bringing to light your actual actions is the enemy. It's empathy, it's truth, it's accountability, all the things that MAGA fears the most.
When the ICC was born 24 years ago, they told us that it was merely a narrow backstop, a global court that would step in to prosecute only the gravest offenses, things like genocide and war crimes, and only when a nation's courts were unable to prosecute them on their own. But the truth is, it was something far more radical and extreme. It was a global tribunal staffed by unelected globalist bureaucrats who claim their power is almost unlimited. The danger.
Sorry, I think I said 87. It was 2000. So in 2000, there were the Rome statute was drafted by the United States and signed by Clinton, but it never got submitted to the Senate for ratification because of this. Because mostly Republicans and war hawks said that if we did agree to this, then these other countries would come after us for politically motivated prosecutions. And of course, by politically motivated prosecutions, what they mean is war crimes. And who unsigned the treaty? Yeah, George Bush. When did he unsign the treaty? When after 9/11, and then a bunch of war hawks and Benjamin Netanyahu convinced us that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction, and then we're like, we're going to go invade the Middle East for the next 25 years. So this ICC thing in the Rome statute, that's going to be a real fucking problem for us. So we're just not going to do that anymore. We don't really do accountability over here in the United States. When we murder innocent people, it's justified. When other people chant death to America, they should be slaughtered wholesale. We're not the good guys. Imagine wanting to live like North Korea. Yeah, imagine wanting to be a Republican.
This global court has only continued to grow. Today, it threatens every aspect of our political and legal system. Border Patrol agents removing violent criminals from our country. American Marines risking their lives to defend our homeland.
Okay, let's play this game though. I'm going to go back here because let's see if why doesn't Marco tell the whole story?
The danger of this global court has only continued to grow. Today, it threatens every aspect of our political and legal system. Border Patrol agents removing violent criminals from our country.
They would not be prosecuted. You know who would be prosecuted? Border Patrol agents who murder innocent people. This wouldn't affect good Border Patrol agents.
American Marines risking their lives to defend our homeland.
This wouldn't affect good Marines. This would affect those who commit war crimes, the type of people that Donald Trump pardoned, the ones who murder a mom and her child, the ones who torture and break all of our laws. This would only hurt bad people. We got to stop pretending that our military is full of just good people. Yeah, Gallagher, thanks. When I was married, one of the things that towards the end of our marriage, honestly, one of the biggest fights we ever had, I don't talk about this very often, so I apologize, but one of the biggest fights we ever had is the company that my ex-wife worked for were sending out letters for, it wasn't Gallagher, but it was one of the other Marines. His wife also worked for this company, and they were sending out letters raising funds for these poor soldiers who fought for our country and were being prosecuted unfairly for murder and torture. And they were asking us for money. My ex-wife, who, by the way, agreed with me eventually, to give her credit. She is a good person, and I don't want to smear her. But at first, because of the letter and because of the people who'd sent out the letter, she trusted this. And we had to go into the details of that. And it made a lot of people in that company really, really, really not like me. Call me unpatriotic because I didn't want to give money to protect war criminals. But this stuff that Marco Rubio is saying, if you have more than a 50 IQ, you know that he's leaving out the truth. There is no risk to Border Patrol. There's no risk to American Marines unless they are doing things that are criminal.
Prosecutors working to dismantle terrorist plots to attack and kill Americans. If we stand idle,
how would that stop any of that?
All of them would be at the mercy.
You realize both sides are bad. Okay, Jamie, I realize that there are bad people on the right and the left. But you
bringing up both sides right now while we're talking about one side perpetuates that problem. Being a both sides person right now means that you're not going to care about this until the other side does it, or you're just never going to care. Democrats have absolutely no power. And if you're new to this show, welcome. And maybe this is why you're saying that, and you can be forgiven. I'm extremely critical of Democrats who say these exact types of things. I'm extremely critical of Chuck Schumer, of Hakeem Jeffries. I don't know if we'll get to it today, that we'll have it tomorrow. Like, I'm going to be very critical of Hakeem Jeffries. But the both sides thing, while we're talking about this, it makes me feel like, and again, I don't recognize your name, so I apologize if I'm getting this wrong, but it makes it feel like you're uncomfortable with what's being said right now, and you'd like to change the subject, and you'd like to feel more comfortable by saying, oh, it's not just the party that I vote for. That's what it feels like to me. And I think that's what it feels like to most of us. We're at a time right now where our government is saying we should not be held accountable. This seems like one of those things we should be able to unify on. And then, when a Democrat does it, we should be able to unify then too. But that's what it feels like.
Of foreign judges thousands of miles away, facing the constant risk of prosecution and even imprisonment for the so-called crime of defending their own country. The American people.
Well, I'd like to point out one other thing. Not a single person who killed another person in the Iraq war or the war in Afghanistan or what we've done in Iran or really any action that we've taken in the Middle East since 2001, not a single person killed somebody else to defend us. They killed people for a war that never should have existed, that we shouldn't have engaged in, and they did it for very powerful people. And I'm not trying to criticize those who served, because I think that most people who served in those wars really did feel like they went over there to defend us. And that's the shitty thing, is they didn't. And some of you have come back with real injuries. Some of you your lives have been changed forever. PTSD is a very real thing. Even those who feel like they have it under control, like viewing the horrors of war, even just being gone for a couple of years from your family, that has lasting implications for early childhood development, for the development of and the relationship with your spouse or your friends or your family. We never should have been there. I don't know how Marco Rubio or anybody can now say with a straight face that anything that we've done in the Middle East since 2001 was to protect us, because it has not been the case. And again, I'm not disparaging the service of those who were over there and served. I'm not. If you tell me you went there because you thought you were protecting America, I'll believe you. That's what I thought at the time. I thought, oh, look at all these, look at the big story was here in Arizona was Pat Tillman. He left his lucrative job in the NFL to go fight for this country. Did he fight for this country? No. I'm not trying to criticize you guys, but to sit here with Marco Rubio, to sit here with a straight face and say that they're protecting our country is silly, because they're not.
People never agreed to any of this, and they never will. Read the words of our Declaration of Independence.
Okay.
We fought a revolution against a foreign power, transporting us beyond seas to be tried for pretended offenses.
Who are we? We revisit the Revolutionary War. Who are we? Are we the invading force? Yeah. Who is Iran? Iran is us, right? Afghanistan, us. Iraq, us. They were invaded. Let's set aside the fact that that settlers came here and committed a genocide against indigenous people. Let's leave that for a second and just come back to the argument he's trying to make here. We would be the invading force. We would be the bad guys if we compare these two groups of people.
Independence is our birthright. We will never let foreign bureaucrats take that away from us. This administration will not sit by as the ICC and its allies seek to threaten our people.
They're not threatening us. None of us are under threat. You are, Marco. Pete Hegseth is. Donald Trump is. The leaders of our country are at threat because you're committing war crimes. We're fine. They're not going to come after us. Stop saying we. It's you. You guys are at threat. And make no doubt about this. What they're doing right now is they are trying to create a narrative, and it's going to work. For the record, the ICC is never going to come after these people. The United States has they're going to try, but nothing's going to happen. But they're going to go out on an all-out assault, and you're going to see in our comment section over the next couple of weeks as they continue to talk about this, you're going to hear people who have never mentioned the ICC in their life, who didn't know the ICC existed ever in their fucking life, suddenly be experts on how the ICC is corrupt and how we shouldn't listen to the ICC. And now the ICC is going to be the enemy. And once again, the enemy will be accountability. The enemy will be empathy. That is the thing that this administration fears, and America fears more than anything: accountability and empathy, and being held accountable for the actions that we take. There's no reason for Marco Rubio to be saying this other than they need to get ahead of the ICC saying that the United States has been committing war crimes over and over and over again. For fuck's sakes, Donald Trump every day threatens to do a war crime. Yeah, you see that national law over international law. Well, what laws should we follow when we go internationally? Our laws. We should follow our laws when we go and we bomb Iran.
If they believe they can deprive us of our sovereignty, we will teach them the full meaning of American resolve.
Don't fight this war with them, MAGA. I'm begging you. Don't be the Nazis that stood by the generals during the Nuremberg trials. Don't engage in this. Don't be part of this fucking movement. This is gross. It's really fucking gross. You're going to. There's nothing we can say that's going to change it. We're defending. Defending what? What are we defending? Pink said, I suggest Randy starts with an easy book like It's Okay to Be Different by Todd Parr. Randy, we'll read it to you if you want. I don't know how based on the information that you popped out in our debate, we may need to read it for you. We're happy to do it. Maybe that'll be our next members only event, is reading to MAGA. We're just going to read basic stuff. We'll watch Schoolhouse Rock with you so you understand how the government works. How do I know, Mark? How do I know that that's what they're doing? Because that's what they're doing. When they say stuff like the ICC won't invade or won't take away our independence, who are they talking about? It's not you, Mark. It's not me. The ICC is not coming after you or I. Who's the ICC coming after? Military leaders. The ICC won't cause a problem for you at all. My question is, why don't you want the ICC to investigate us? Why don't you want to make sure that we're doing things that aren't war crimes? American arrogance? What is that? That's patriotism? We're not accountable. That's patriotism. I want all of our military leaders to be accountable for the people that they murder. And in those cases when things happen in war that aren't war crimes, that are just part of war, fine. I get it. But we'll never stop fighting these senseless wars if there's no accountability. We've been doing this for 30 years now, just murdering people indiscriminately in the Middle East with no repercussions. And it's hurt all of us. It's hurt the Middle East. Nothing's gotten safer. We have more extremist groups, militant groups than ever. The Middle East is consistently destabilized. It's not like things are getting better in our country. How many trillions of dollars have we spent to murder these people? How much debt have we accumulated to murder people in the Middle East? What's been the point of any of that? We just like to murder. What it feels like. I want them to be held accountable. And if it starts with this administration, great. It's got to start somewhere. But Marco Rubio's not saying this shit for you. He's saying that shit for him. They want to protect themselves. At the same time, here in America, you want to talk about American law. This is a pretty powerful
video released by the Epstein survivors. Tomorrow is it tomorrow or Thursday? Todd Blanche is going to be in have his confirmation hearings, and on the eve of that, the survivors of Jeffrey Epstein, who Donald Trump, Todd Blanche, and Kash Patel are covering for, these survivors are issuing a warning. Please don't make the man covering up the Epstein files the Attorney General.
My name was released. My phone number was released.
Where I went to school, where I live. My students can now search me and read about my abuse.
I am an Epstein survivor.
I am an Epstein survivor.
I am an Epstein survivor. We were exposed.
Nude pictures of victims were released.
Our family's safety was put at risk.
Now, Todd Blanche wants to be the Attorney General of the United States.
Todd Blanche had a duty to protect us.
Instead, he protected the people who committed crimes against us. 30 years.
1,200 victims.
And 6 million files.
A mountain of evidence. But Todd Blanche says there are no investigative leads.
Todd Blanche failed us.
He failed victims everywhere.
We deserve better.
Our country deserves better.
Vote no on Todd Blanche for Attorney General.
Vote no.
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 No. Vote no on Todd Blanche for Attorney General.
That should be enough. Knowing that Todd Blanche covered up the Epstein files should be enough for everybody. I know it's not, but maybe I can add some more reasons that we shouldn't be supporting Todd Blanche. This story's been out for a couple of days now, but there's a judge named Kathleen Williams ruled on Monday that Trump's lawsuit against the IRS was an improper exercise in self-dealing and barred him from claiming that the extraordinary tax protections he received were part of a legitimate settlement agreement. If you're not familiar with what we're talking about, Donald Trump was suing the IRS because his tax returns were illegally leaked. And he didn't win that lawsuit. There was a settlement agreement, and part of that settlement agreement said that he can't be audited, which is crazy. There should never be a settlement that says you cannot be audited. You can just do tax crimes. And what the judge said here in the 56-page order, Judge Kathleen Williams referred the lawyer who brought Trump's case against the IRS to the Florida bar for disciplinary proceedings. She added that she would forward her decision to the New York bar for its continuing investigation of Todd Blanche, who faces a Senate confirmation hearing this week. The decision by Judge Williams, who sits in federal district court in Miami, did not explicitly kill the deal that Trump had worked out with his own government to receive what amounted to amnesty from IRS investigations, but the scathing ruling exposed the negotiations between Mr. Trump's personal lawyers and senior officials at the Justice Department for what she says they were, backroom dealings that did not arise from a legitimate legal process. She is quoted saying, "The nature of the suit itself and the conduct of the parties and counsel from its filing make plain that this was an attempt to use the court to provide some legitimacy to an agreement to confer immunity to people and entities affiliated with the president. Whatever may be the parties' wishes, inclinations, or dictates of their passion, they cannot alter the state of facts or evade the rule of law." The first this also was where they created the $1.8 billion slush fund aimed at compensating allies of Trump who say they were victims of the so-called government weaponization. The prospect of Mr. Trump's administration making extensive payouts to the people who stormed the Capitol on January 6th immediately set off a political firestorm. And Mr. Blanche later said the Justice Department would not move forward with the fund. Okay, so we have an agreement that created this fund and immunity for Trump. Neither one of those things make any sense. So Todd Blanche is like, fine, we won't give money to the victims of weaponization, but we're still going to make sure that Trump can't be investigated for tax crimes, which, by the way, he's been caught doing his entire life. Donald Trump has always been a tax cheat. But Mr. Blanche, Trump's former personal lawyer, had also signed a separate order granting the president, his family, and their business wide-ranging and unprecedented immunity from tax inquiries. He directed the IRS to stop any outgoing audits of the Trumps and also told the agency to not conduct any new investigations of tax returns they had already filed. Is this the transparency, the most transparent administration in history? They can just tell you that, and then they make sure that he can't be audited. In the ruling, Judge Williams took direct aim at Todd Blanche at a sensitive moment, days before he was to appear in the Senate for confirmation. She wrote that she was extremely troubled by testimony he gave to the Senate in May when he asserted that the settlement agreement had never been submitted to a court because the case had been dismissed and there was no mechanism for reviewing the agreement. She said this answer is at best misleading and at worst disingenuous. The court was available to review any pleading by any party at any time during this lawsuit. Whether executive branch actors can privately agree to give themselves and their former clients blanket immunity and billions of dollars in tax money for legally undefined grievances was never an issue advanced to this court. The question is whether the parties could do so by claiming to be adverse and engaging the legitimacy of a court proceeding. This is important. Adverse means like the parties they have a different interest. This is Donald Trump suing the federal government, and the person representing the federal government is Donald Trump's personal attorney who acts on behalf of Donald Trump. He can say that he's the acting attorney general, but he's not. He represents Donald Trump. There was no adversity here. They were not adverse parties. That's clear. It doesn't make sense. If Donald Trump is suing the IRS, then they need to pay him the money, right? If he's suing them for, I think he wanted $10 billion. If you're going to settle it, it would be a settlement of money. But why would the settlement be, oh, we can't investigate you for any of your crimes? Those are not adverse parties. This is so blatantly corrupt. And Todd Blanche might make it through the confirmation hearing. Almost every Republican is going to vote to make Todd Blanche the attorney general, despite this level of obvious corruption, while he's also covering up the Epstein files. Do you want to explain this one? Hello, Kitty. You want to explain this to us? Host spits opinions. Yeah, I am spitting my opinion, my friend. This is my show where I share my opinion. This host is speaking in a microphone. Yep, I'm doing that too. This host is on the internet. Yep. This host is a human being. Yep. Beyond making referrals for Alejandro Brito, Mr. Trump's primary lawyer in the case, and Mr. Blanche, Judge Williams also said she would send her order to the D.C. bar for its investigation of Stanley Woodward Jr., a top Justice Department official who signed the paperwork creating the fund. Another lawyer for Trump, Daniel Epstein, will be banned from making court appearances in the Southern District of Florida for 1 year. How many Trump attorneys now have lost their law licenses? How many Biden attorneys lost their law licenses? How many Obama attorneys lost their law licenses? We're up in the 20s now. Judge Williams also opened up the possibility of Mr. Trump having to pay monetary penalties in the case. Several third parties have filed friend of the court briefs in the case, and she said those lawyers could request reimbursement from Mr. Trump for their costs. We're just going to close our eyes and plug our ears and pretend this is all very normal, and that Trump isn't just stealing from the government and setting up a scenario where he is above the law. Since Donald Trump has become president, because of his influence, now presidents are legally allowed to commit crimes while they're president. And the Supreme Court ruled in his favor, and you celebrated that. And now, apparently, they're going to be able to pay themselves in lawsuits. All you have to do if you win the presidency is have your friend be the attorney general, and then you can sue the government, and they can be like, you have blanket immunity from crimes from now on. Oh, and we'll give you some money too. I don't believe any of you still support him. I believe you just really, really want to. You're scrambling now at this point. This is disgusting. This isn't a real country. This isn't an oligarchy. This is a faux democracy. This is fascism. This is Donald Trump. There's a reason Donald Trump sucks Vladimir Putin's dick. He wants to be Vladimir Putin, and holy Christ, he's getting close. We just have we have a sham of a government now. If you are in this country and you are being prosecuted by the federal government, it's because you don't agree with Donald Trump. If you agree with Donald Trump, you are not going to be prosecuted. That's the country you would like to live in? Also, presidents can run for a third term as long as their name isn't Obama. Yeah, allegedly. Here's more anti-transparency stuff. Here's just more of this administration saying we're doing fascism. Here's Pete Kegg's breath. Remember, Pete Hegseth leaked classified information. And he is still the Secretary of Defense. He has still faced no consequences for leaking classified information. So remember that when he says this.
As you know,
Josh, explain what I lied about, please. That'd be great. I would love for one of you guys at one point to just stop generic insults and explain what I'm lying about.
we live in a dynamic and dangerous threat environment where access to and accumulation of closely held information is key to understanding our world. The unauthorized disclosure of sensitive War Department information has the very real potential to cause exceptionally grave damage to our national security and the operational integrity of our armed forces. To leak sensitive national defense information and secrets betrays the men and women who wear our nation's uniform. It's a
All right. Before this goes too far, MAGA, if a member of the military leaks classified information, whose fault is that? What did he leak? Is this about Signal, which they all use? Yes. And it got out to the media. It was a leak, dummy. Leaks don't have to be on purpose. When I had a leaky faucet, it's not because my faucet was like, I choose to do this. It's called negligence. Right? It leaked. You know about it. That's how we know it leaked. You said, is this about the Signal chat? So yeah, it leaked, right? Where were the repercussions? Everybody uses Signal. That's a good reason why maybe they shouldn't use Signal. But what should happen, right? So if somebody leaks classified information, they should be held accountable for that, right? I agree with that. I agree with what he's saying. If you're leaking classified information, you should be held accountable. You get access to classified information and then you leak it, you should be held accountable. I have no problem with that.
principle as old as war. And in the United States goes back to the founding of our republic. George Washington himself battled leaks, insider threats, and espionage.
Donald Trump also battles leaks, which is why they have to put a towel down when he goes and visits Fox News.
When a leak of department information occurs today, it's critical that we provide the Department of Justice and other partners in federal law enforcement, including the FBI, with actionable information as quickly as possible. And that's why the Department of War and the Department of Justice have created a joint task force to identify and prosecute leakers. I'd like to thank Acting Attorney General Blanche.
Okay, who are the leakers? Members of the government, right? I just want to be clear on that. Members of the government leak, right? They have classified information. They know that it's classified. They leak it to a journalist. Journalists don't have classified qualifications, right? They don't even know what is and isn't classified. If it's leaked to them, they can print who's at fault there. Not them, it's the leakers. So naturally, rather than go after the leakers, the Trump administration is going after journalists. You know that whole First Amendment thing? You know that whole freedom of the press thing? It's their fault that his administration leaks all the time. Trump administration issued subpoenas on Friday to several journalists for the New York Times after the news outlet reported this week on security concerns involving Trump's new Qatari-donated Air Force One. The subpoenas, which seek to force the reporters to testify before a federal grand jury in Manhattan on Wednesday, were an extraordinary escalation in President Trump's efforts to threaten and intimidate independent news organizations. In some cases, the subpoenas were delivered by federal agents who showed up at reporters' homes. The appearance of federal law enforcement agents on the doorstep of news reporters should shock the conscience of any American who believes in the Constitution and the press freedom it protects, said David McGraw, the New York Times top newsroom lawyer. Now, MAGA's going to hear Trump accusing them. They're going to hear New York Times, and they're going to be like, good, throw them in jail. They are not responsible for this. It is not their responsibility to decide what is and isn't classified information. If you're upset about the leaks, go after the leakers. But Donald Trump doesn't go after the leakers. He goes after the people who report it. Our journalists, he continues, report the facts and advance the American public's right to know their government is operating and their taxpayer dollars are being used. This brazen act should be seen as nothing more than an attempt to prevent the public from knowing what is happening in their country by intimidating journalists from doing their jobs. The subpoenas contain few specifics, asking only that the journalists testify in regard to an alleged violation of federal criminal law. They were issued by Jay Clayton, a U.S. attorney in Manhattan, who is also now nominated to be Trump's new director of national intelligence. We value and appreciate the important role that the press plays in this country, but DOJ also plays an important role to make sure that the people entrusted with our nation's secrets do what they're supposed to do with that information, said DOJ spokesperson Emily Covington. She added, we recognize there may always be natural tension there, but we are not going to ignore the law. Then go after the fucking leakers, because we have a First Amendment here. The journalists have no obligation to protect classified information. If it is leaked to them, they report it. And by the way, what is being reported? That Donald Trump's jet that he got from the Qataris that he's been flying around is apparently unsafe. And so he had to ground that plane because it doesn't meet the standards that he claims, by the way, it met. He got embarrassed. The press must be right. They're reporting it. Hello Kitty, shut the fuck up. You're a joke. Honestly, I'm sick of all of you. You're a fucking joke of a human being. It is absolutely fucking pathetic that everything you hear, you just take the opposite side. Anything Trump does, Trump could come out and smear shit on your face and we'd all watch it. Trump would just reach in his diaper, take out shit and smear it on your face, and we'd all watch it. And then Trump would be like, I didn't do that. She's trying to frame me. And we'd all be like, no, we watched it happen. And you would go, I did it. I put that shit on my face because I'm trying to frame him. It is remarkable in real time to watch you're reading something and you just listen to disagree to something. Oh, the press is reporting it. It must be true. You dumb motherfucker. They're reporting what the DOJ said publicly. This is the DOJ. Emily Covington, she is the spokeswoman of the DOJ. She put this statement out publicly, and then they put it in their story. And because it says New York Times at the top, you're like, oh, this must be a lie. You absolute fucking bonkersville lunatic. Get it the fuck together. All of you, get it the fuck together. It is embarrassing that you exist as Americans. You are what makes us pathetic. They are going after journalists for their own incompetence, and your response was, oh, well, if they're reporting it, it must be true. Gotcha. Fake news. All the news is fake. Everything being reported is confirmed by the DOJ, and your dumb fucking ass still doesn't believe it because it says New York Times at the top. You indoctrinated lunatic cultist. Get it the fuck together. I've been in a cult too. It sucks. It's embarrassing. Years from now, this stuff's all public, and you'll see this, and you'll be like, fuck, I was really in it. I was really like neck deep in bullshit. I got mad at everybody for you could just Google this. You could go find this exact quote from them. You think the New York Times is just making up quotes from the Department of Justice? Yeah. I just don't believe anything. No matter what it says here, I'm going to believe the opposite. Well, the DOJ says the same thing. Okay, well, when the DOJ says that it's true, when they quote them word for word, it's a lie. You gotta be better than that. The Times journalists who received subpoenas included Julian Barnes, Eric Lipton, Tyler Pager, and Eric Schmidt, who reported on Wednesday that Trump had departed Turkey on the old Air Force One as a security precaution at the urging of the Secret Service. Oh no, we better get him. What will we ever do with Americans knowing this knowledge that Trump's on a different plane? We better subpoena them. On Thursday, the Times reported that new Air Force One, a Qatari-donated Boeing 747-8, lacked some of the advanced security features of the older aircraft, including anti-missile capabilities. Both articles cited sources who spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss sensitive security issues. They're still leaking. They're still fucking leaking. Do you see this? They're still doing it. The problem is inside the House. MAGA dipshits are like, it's the press's fault for reporting the leaks. No. The administration's leaking. Get mad at them. Stop blaming the press for your dumbassery being exposed. Before the Wednesday article was published, a senior official at the FBI contacted a reporter and a senior editor at the Times to ask that the article be held, calling it an issue of national security. Then stop leaking. Right? It's not their job. The FBI official declined to explain the security issue. The official also asked the Times to disclose its sources for the article, which you don't have to do. If we now have to, if journalists have to say who their sources are, that's the end of free press. Every time we've caught the government in a lie, it's been a journalist who gets anonymous sources, multiple, confirms it, and then they get enough sources and trap the administration that the administration gets trapped in a lie. That's how we bring down corrupt governments. That's why we need a free press. Otherwise, we're North Korea. Otherwise, we're Russia, which seems to be what you guys are advocating for because you're so tired of bad stories about Donald Trump. Earlier this year, the Justice Department sought to compel testimony from journalists from the Wall Street Journal and the Washington Post. The Justice Department had to withdraw those subpoenas after both news organizations fought back in sealed filings, which is what's going to happen here, too. They're going to, every time they win, because this is clearly a First Amendment issue, they don't want to take this to court. They're just trying to intimidate the press and take some of you dipshits and get you to be like, see, the press is bad. In January, FBI agents took the rare step of searching the home of a Washington Post reporter, Hannah Natanson, as part of an investigation into a government contractor's handling of classified material. The agents seized phones, laptops, and a smartwatch after executing a search warrant. Ms. Natanson had spent months speaking with government employees while reporting on the Trump administration's efforts to shrink the federal workforce. The Times is a party to several other lawsuits involving Trump and his administration. The president sued the Times last year, accusing it of defaming him, disparaging his reputation, and seeking to undermine his 2024 candidacy. That went nowhere. In December, the Times countersued the Defense Department after it imposed restrictions on reporters who cover the military, and they won. The company sued again after the agency reduced reporters' physical access to the Pentagon, and they won because of free speech and free press. In May, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, Trump's administration, sued the Times, accusing it of employment discrimination. On Friday, the Times filed a counterclaim, saying the lawsuit was an act of retaliation for its coverage of the Trump presidency and a violation of its First Amendment rights. This entire administration is filled with incompetent, stupid, thin-skinned bitches whose, again, their biggest fear is that they will be exposed as exactly who they are. So they threaten and they sue. And I don't know why you guys defend them. Why in the world are you defending the administration attacking the First Amendment? Just be a human being and allow yourself to be wrong. I'm just playing for my party like you guys do. No, you're not, Hello Kitty. One, I'm not a Democrat. And now you're doing this. Now that you've been caught and you don't have an answer for it. Even if you were, let me just say this. Even if you were just playing for your party, don't fucking do that, you fucking dipshit. Be a fucking human being and stop fucking doing that. Well, other people are dumb fucks too, so I'm just being a dumb fuck. Don't be a dumb fuck. And if you're a Democrat who does the same thing, like we've seen they did it with Graham Plattner. There are a handful of people. There's a handful of people who defend Democrats when they do dumb shit. I say the same thing. Don't do that. Why do you think so little of yourself? I'm just being a fucking troll on the internet and a dumb fuck because other people do. I'm going to take the lowest possible bar and sit right there. Just be better. No, I'm actually a registered Republican, and I would vote for any candidate who ran on single-payer healthcare and ending Citizens United and taking money out of elections. I would vote for. I would vote for a Republican in any election that I'm eligible to vote for here in Arizona if their platform was getting money out of elections or single-payer healthcare. Those are my two biggest issues. If Andy Biggs, if you're here, Andy Biggs is the person I hate most. If Andy Biggs running for governor was running against anybody, any Democrat, and the Democrat did not want to run on single-payer healthcare and wanted to keep money in elections, and Andy Biggs said, I want single-payer healthcare and money out of elections, I would close my eyes, I would plug my nose and I would vote for Andy Biggs, even though I fucking hate that guy. I have principles. I have things that I care about, and the things I care about tend to align with progressives. I don't think you have that. What would you say your principles even are? I know it's not freedom of speech because you're not getting that. I know it's not sensible spending because you're not getting that. I know it's not anti-war because you're not getting that. I know it's not affordability because you're not getting that, and you're still playing the team sport. Yes, I tend to align with progressives because those are my actual values, but I have no problem telling Democrats to go fuck themselves when they don't share my values. Fascism, racism, pro-male. That's what you want? Fascism, racism, and pro-male? Okay, well then, yeah, Trump's your guy. I guess you got the right guy. Perfect. All right. What's time do we have? 30 minutes. Yeah, I do want to get to this. On Thursday, Trump is going to make an announcement. He's going to give a primetime address, and he's going to say that he has proof that the election was stolen in 2020. Everybody is already saying, see, we told you. And this is the game that they play, and you should recognize it by now. Trump doesn't just announce these things in the moment. He gives you a bunch of fluff leading up to it saying like, yeah, we're going to prove it once and for all. He's done this about 30 times now. And not once has he brought any evidence. RTP, do you like Kyle Klinsky? Yeah, I don't watch a lot of other people's stuff, but I generally like Kyle Klinsky. I can't think of anything off the top of my head I don't like about Kyle Klinsky. I don't like I said, I don't like his hair, but yeah, I like Kyle Klinsky. I think he's another one of those people who just has progressive principles. I don't know if we align on everything or even that much. I'm not sure. I don't know that much about him, but I've never seen anything about him that makes me not like him. Anyways, Trump's going to make this announcement about election interference. And let me just be, for the MAGA in the chat, what's ironic is that Trump's claim of election interference, when he won in 2016, everything was fine. Then when he was in power, suddenly the elections could be interfered with and he lost. Then he was out of power and he won, and that election was clean. And now he's in power again, and now the elections aren't clean. If you were not in a cult, you would be forced to conclude that every time Donald Trump is in power, elections are corrupt. And maybe we shouldn't keep putting him in power if you want to believe that the elections are corrupt. I don't know what he's going to bring forward on Thursday, but I'm going to guess that he will bring nothing new. It will be the same shit that has lost in court over and over and over again. Here is Reuters reporting at least what they're coming up with so far. Trump says he will give a national address on Thursday night about newly declassified intelligence on investigations into U.S. elections and what the White House says are voting machine vulnerabilities. Okay, these exist. This will be interesting if they actually get into the details of the voting machine vulnerabilities. And if you're new here, you can go back and watch my shows on the voting machine vulnerabilities. We've covered this extensively. Yes, you can hack the voting machines. We've known that for 20 years. It's easy to do if you have the right person and you have the right people around you. In the last election, there were multiple fake counties that showed up on election results. And the counties had like 2 million votes. And nobody even noticed that they were fake counties when they were covering it. And those counties disappeared from the results, but the votes stayed. So we know that there's votes that in the last election that showed up that are unaccounted for. And we have done no audits of the last election. But if he brings that up, that would I believe that would be a mistake, because to this point, most mainstream media has refused to cover any of this. In fact, I am one of the few that's covered this. I know that David Pakman kind of brushed on it. I think Talking Points has covered it. I've tried to get other creators to cover it. I still need to get with Steve to cover it. I tried with Santana. He's left me unread on this. A lot of people don't want to cover this. But if Donald Trump talks about the actual voting machine vulnerabilities, this is going to open up a lot of people's minds. And then when you look at what happened in 2024, I think people are going to be forced to conclude, holy shit, this could have happened in 2020, but it didn't. And it looks like it did happen in 2024. Neely said, will Thursday's announcement be done from Four Seasons Landscaping? Please say yes. I hope so. Swampy said, maggots are the group that taught me America bad. Yeah. Oh, and I missed this one from Ox Black. Here's a couple bucks to help fund reading to MAGA. B87 said, well, I guess we know why Tulsi was hanging out in Georgia a couple months ago. Yeah, this is absolutely related to Tulsi Gabbard. And like everything they've brought forward, it's not going to be evidence of a stolen election. How does it feel the Democrat Party is being reduced to and taken over by communists? You don't know what a communist is. Fuck you. God damn, you are stupid. You have triggered me today. You are so fucking dumb. There are zero communists in the Democrat Party. In fact, the communists that I know a handful of communists. They all hate the Democrats. They fucking hate Democrats. Democratic socialists are taking over the Democrat Party, and I am all in favor of that because they get shit done. The Republican president could use his televised speech again to press his false claim that he lost the 2020 election bid to Biden due to massive fraud. I don't know what he's going to put out there, but if he brings up the machines, I think that'd be a mistake on his part, and I hope he does it. Numerous court ballot audits and first-term Justice Department found no evidence of fraud, including vote machine rigging. The federal cybersecurity watchdog joined other federal, state, and local officials in declaring the vote the most secure in American history. Asked if his speech would address election machine integrity, Trump told reporters on Tuesdays it will concern that subject. I hope they do. I hope they do, because we know something about that. Propelled by Trump's repeated claims that the U.S. elections are rigged, the administration has over a year sought to increase federal oversight of election administration and reshape the way Americans vote. What I actually expect that they're doing is they're trying to build support for them to purge voter rolls. If you remember from, I think it was last month in June, you had the Postmaster General Peters in front of Congress admit that they were going to break the law and not deliver ballots for states that didn't do what Donald Trump told them to do.
Yes or no, if a state refuses to turn their absentee voter list over to the federal government, will the Postal Service still mail their ballots under this proposal rule?
Under our proposed regulation, no. We would tell the state that we need the manifest in order to, look, what we're asking for.
That's the answer. You would tell no. So the proposed rule basically coerces states to conform to these new requirements and hand over their absentee voter rolls or face the consequences of not being able to vote by mail. Some states, that's all they do. Oregon is completely vote by mail. If they say, no, we control the list, the states control the list, we're not going to give it.
Oregon has followed Kit 600 since the day they started voting by mail.
This is a different issue. This will be a lot different issue. You're telling these states either give the federal government this information.
I'm sorry. I guess I missed the part in the Constitution where the Postmaster General has some sort of say over the elections. MAGA, would you be surprised to know that the executive branch has no jurisdiction over elections? None. Would that surprise you to know that nothing they're doing is constitutional? If you do know that, I find it strange that you're still supporting them.
Trust the federal government. Trust the Trump administration. We'll take good care of these. And if you don't do it, you can't mail absentee ballots. You're going to make a decision that people cannot vote by mail. That's unacceptable.
Well,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
all that does, Senator, is make sure that we match the ballots that a state believes they're sending out to what actually gets sent out. Right?
That is not a role of the post office. Post office has absolutely no role in verifying ballots. This is unitary executive theory. We get to just do what we want in the executive branch. We can make up new rules. We can call something voter integrity that is actually voter suppression. Can you imagine giving any executive branch the ability to choose which mail-in ballots are accepted and not, with no congressional oversight? With no oversight from the state, just the executive branch gets to make this determination on their own? That's the argument that they're actually making. That the executive branch determines if your vote counts or not. That's fascism, folks. Like, by every definition, that's fascism. One guy's in charge of everything. Why are they scrambling so hard? Because they're losing. It's going poorly. And this tells you everything you need to know about the Republicans in office. They don't really fucking care about you. They don't care if things are getting better or not. They just care about staying in power. They're on the record as saying that if they could pass the SAVE Act, they think that they can maintain power for 100 years. What does that tell you? It tells you that they know it's voter suppression. It certainly isn't about people who are undocumented voting or people illegally voting, because we know how many illegal votes there are each election. Not very many, a handful. So it tells you that they know they're going to suppress the vote in all the places that vote Democrat. Exactly, Republicans. It's not fascism when we do it. All right. Here's from the AP News this morning, and this is how they're ramping up this pressure now. Trump's administration is threatening to withhold federal funding now from states that don't make changes to voting practices. Again, the executive branch has no say over voting practices and is warning state election officials that they face arrest if they don't remove non-citizens from voter rolls. Letters to states and grant application details are the latest in the line of actions by Trump's administration to shape details of running elections that have long been the jobs of the states. There is a separation there. The states get to choose how they run their elections, not the executive branch. And Trump wasn't able to, like, he sent them, he's like, you have to change. So they're like, fuck you. You can't tell us to change. Courts even have largely rejected the administration's efforts, which reflect untrue claims about widespread voting fraud and come less than 4 months ahead of crucial midterm elections where Democrats seek to take control of one or both chambers of Congress and check Trump's power. The overall point is that Trump is trying to use whatever levers of power and persuasive power that he might have to try to interfere with how states and localities are going to conduct the 2026 election. For the record, I do not think Trump's going to be successful in doing this. The courts have shown that they are willing to stand up against this. The courts recognize that this is like, you cannot just hand this power over. This is Trump doing his best to try and sway elections, and it's an old game. Like we've already seen this. It's a replay. This only works on people who are either new to the game or are in the cult. But for the people who have watched Donald Trump cry about elections now for 10 years and never provide any receipts, they've grown tired of this. It worked early. It doesn't work now. Anybody that's open-minded would hear these claims and say, what is your evidence? And then Trump would show them no evidence. And they'd be like, oh, okay, so you don't have evidence. I'd ask you guys for evidence. The Heritage Foundation, thank you, Jen, said that, what was it, like 18 people in the last 30 years that were undocumented voted, something like that. Justice Department now gets involved in letters sent Tuesday to election officials for all 50 states. By the way, the Justice Department also has no role here. And District of Columbia, often Secretaries of State. The Department of Justice Civil Rights Division said that they and other election administrators could face criminal charges if they knowingly allowed non-voters to vote or remain on voting rolls. It also called on the states to tell the federal government within 5 days how they intend to comply with the law. Now, I want to talk about voting rolls also. It doesn't fucking matter how clean the voter rolls are. As long as you have protections in place to catch people who are not allowed to vote. The voter roll isn't the whole story. It's true that some of these every vote roll in every state has people on those voting rolls who are not eligible to vote, but they have checks in place to make sure that those are caught. It's hard. It's hard to purge these rolls. People don't have the funding for it. Sorry, Russ is here. This channel spits nothing but ignorance and falseness. That's not true. Sometimes I spit cum on your dad's face. Derek Muller, a law professor at the University of Notre Dame who specializes in election law, said it's not clear the 50-state letter means anything except to restate some parts of the law with a request to follow up, which I'm sure many states will ignore. The letter also warns that anyone who knowingly and willfully gives false information in registering to vote or voting would face criminal prosecution. Robert Weiner, director of the Voting Rights Project for the Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights Under Law, said the rate of voting by non-citizens is infinitesimally small, and he suggested that the government's actions are motivated by factors other than securing elections. I predict that the president is trying to create chaos and then use that chaos to take drastic measures in states that oppose his policies or to refuse to recognize the results of the elections in those states. He's going to try anything.
He's gonna try and send the national or the I was gonna say national parks, the National Guard. He's gonna try all sorts of shit. Now they're also doing this FEMA now. Now they're using FEMA. And a federal anti-terrorism grant announced in June includes a list of election related requirements, saying that 20% of grants for states and urban areas would be withheld until they comply. Sorry, you don't get anti-terrorism money until you do what the executive branch, who has no ability to tell you what to do, until you follow what they tell you to do. The program includes more than $1 billion for states and local and tribal governments for a variety of programs aimed at preventing terror and at crowded places, online, with border security, and around elections. FEMA expects to award 56 grants. Recipients can ensure that their efforts contribute to a secure, transparent, and resilient electoral process, thereby reinforcing public trust in the integrity of democratic institutions, the grant announcement says, noting that securing election infrastructure is a national security priority. It's not. It's a Trump priority. So they're also very secure. So now we're saying, like, sorry guys, you're not going to be safe unless you do what Donald Trump says. Cool. We like that. Like just using, we like Trump, King Trump. Here's the best video I could find of their argument. Unfortunately, I had to go to Gunther Eagleman's page, and this is probably where we'll end for the rest of the day. I'm going to show Fox News. Like, this is how Fox News is selling it. And I just want you to pay attention to how weak these arguments are.
Trump Justice Department is warning election officials in all 50 states and D.C. they could face criminal prosecution if they knowingly allow non-citizens to remain on voter rolls or cast ballots. This comes as ICE says it arrested a non-citizen in New Jersey accused of illegally registering to vote. I was told this never happens. And
RTP, that is not totally true. The Republican Party pays to purge voters all the time. We can see their horrible efforts all the way back to Bush Jr. versus Gore. I'm not sure what part's not true. I agree with that. I don't know what I said, but I probably misspoke.
A ballot in the 2022 election. Chairman, I was told that never, ever happens. There's just no
way. We got Jim Jordan here. He'll tell it. We got Tommy Lauren and Swimmer McGee here. I don't know who the fuck that is.
A couple things here. Not only that part of it and cracking down on non-citizens on the voter rolls, but also I got to ask you about the Save America Act or some iteration of it. We talk about it on this show every weekend. We know that John Thune says he doesn't have the votes over there in the Senate, but my colleagues and I are always wondering, is there some kind of a voter ID initiative that can pass, that we can push for if that particular Save America Act isn't plausible? And last weekend, I believe we had Senator Kennedy on, and he said that the House and the Senate weren't really even talking about what was possible. And that was very frustrating.
By the way, the thing that the DOJ, and this is why this is so pathetic, is that if they're threatening that if they find anybody who's undocumented on the voter rolls and they can prove that you knowingly kept that person on the voting rolls, then you can go to jail. How do you get on the voter rolls? You register to vote. Who generally registers people to vote? You either do it online or you're doing it through like get out the vote stuff. You can register at the DMV. Who the fuck are they going to arrest? How would you ever prove that somebody knowingly kept somebody who was undocumented on the voter rolls? It's such an empty threat. It would never happen. There's no way they could prove any of that. It's just threats.
For us at the table, is there anything that you could divulge on conversations that are or are not happening?
I mean, we're trying to include what elements we can in a third reconciliation.
Secretaries of State. Yeah, but how would you prove a Secretary of State kept somebody undocumented on the voter rolls on purpose, right? Because if somebody, let's just say that there was somebody that was undocumented on the rolls, and then you say, okay, we're going to prosecute you. How would you prove that it was on purpose? Because negligence wouldn't be on purpose, right? Like if they just didn't purge the rolls, if they didn't do an adequate job purging the rolls, that wouldn't be on purpose. You have to knowingly do it. There is no scenario where anybody's going to be arrested for this. This threat doesn't scare anybody. That's why all the states are telling them to go fuck themselves. Nobody's afraid of this. There's no scenario where they're going to be prosecuted for this.
package. So we're looking at those possibilities. As you know, we passed the Save America Act, I think, three different times in the House. It sits over in the Senate. Seems to me unless they change the filibuster rule, they're never going to get to bring that up and actually pass and get the vote ID. But we're doing a number of other things. You mentioned what the Justice Department's also doing on keeping our elections safe. One of the things we're doing is investigating Act Blue. Because it sure looks like in the last election cycle.
Well, one thing we're doing is investigating our political opponents. And by investigating, of course, what he means is Congress standing up there and blowing smoke out of their own assholes because there's literally no case. Because if there was a case, it would be the fucking DOJ and not Congress, because Congress is not an investigative body that puts out criminal charges. So instead of doing anything for you, Congress is wasting their fucking time going after political opponents, just like they wasted all their fucking time investigating Joe Biden and secured absolutely fuck all. Just like they did when they tried to bring up a weaponization shit, and they've provided fuck all when it comes to charges. How many more times, Republicans, are you going to let these dumb fucks, led by I cover up rape Jim Jordan, and it would be like, oh, they're going to prove it? They've proved nothing. In 10 years, every investigation that they have done has come up with fuck all. They tried to go after Mueller for the Mueller report. You know what? And they had the Hur report. You know what the Hur report said? Yeah, he was right. Then they had the other shit. What's the other guy's name? Not Robert Hur. Who's the other guy that had fuck, what is his name? Somebody help me out. Who's the other guy that they had investigate the Mueller investigation and the Hur investigation? The Durham Annex. The Durham Annex concluded one thing. Yeah, thank you guys. Well done. The Durham Annex is like, you know what? They could have added better notations. They have found absolutely fucking nothing for 10 years. And their record is zero. Zero for however many. And you still think they're going to come up with something? If this was a serious investigation into Act Blue, it would be the Department of Justice, and we wouldn't know about it. They wouldn't be announcing it. Maybe that's what they're doing. Yeah, maybe, but I doubt it.
They took millions of dollars from foreign sources, which is against the law, too.
Donald Trump took $300 million, like a $300 to $400 million jet from the fucking Qataris. 80% of the money that flows into World Liberty Financial comes from foreign governments. Foreign governments invest into Republican PACs all the time. This is not serious. These are just not serious allegations. Just partisan bullshit.
So trying to make sure our elections are run the right way. So we're looking at that issue. We've actually deposed 6 different people from Act Blue. Every single one of them has taken the fifth. And
why wouldn't they? Why would they talk to you? Who are you? This guy is in open defiance of a congressional subpoena right now. Congressional subpoenas don't mean a fucking thing anymore because the Republicans all decided at some point, fuck it. Congressional subpoenas don't mean anything. So now people don't have to comply with congressional subpoenas, or they just take the fifth. Sorry, Jim, why don't you go testify? Andy Biggs, why don't you get off your dumb ass and go testify? Oh, you're not going. So now you guys don't have any ability to do shit. It's been like 6 years. Or not 6, 4 years that he's been in open defiance of a subpoena. Your subpoenas don't mean dick.
Frankly, when we brought the executive director in for a public hearing, I'd have taken the fifth, too, in light of the fact that...
You did take the fifth, bitch. You take the fifth all the time. It's all you do. This guy has the audacity to say that if somebody's taking the fifth, they're guilty. Okay, let's talk about the rape that you covered up. Did you take the fifth on that? Oh, you sure did, didn't you? Did you show up for your subpoena? Oh, you sure didn't, did you? I guess you're guilty. Oh, no, that only applies when it's Dems. Who the fuck are these journalists here at Fox News? Just a real quick question. Just in fairness, aren't you also in open defiance of a subpoena, sir? Oh, it's different when it's me.
She had her board chairman said, yeah, it looks like we took $40-some million that came into Act Blue from foreign origins. And they also...
Oh, 40 million. Oh, times that by 10, and that's what Trump took from the Qataris. Cool.
Had their outside counsel say, it looks like the response Act Blue gave to Congress, answering a letter we had sent to them, looks like you may have misled Congress. That's a nice way of saying you lied, and you're not allowed to do that either. So
do something then. Notice how they're not going to do anything about it? Notice his wording. It looks like you misled Congress. It looks like you might have. Then do something. How come all these people that you claim lie to Congress?
You said you were going to lock up Hunter Biden for the same thing. You're going to get Joe Biden. You were going to get Bill Clinton just barely. How come none of these people who lie to Congress, it looks like they lied to Congress, and then they never do anything about it? How come? Where's dipshit McFuckface that's been doing both sides all day? How come they don't ever secure any indictments? Because the judges. No, not judges. Not one time have they proven a single allegation, and you guys believe it more now than ever.
Taking foreign money lying to Congress, I probably would have taken the fifth if I was the executive director of Act Blue as well. So we're looking at that situation, and the Justice Department, frankly, is looking at them as well in a broader sense. So all those things need to happen.
In a broader sense, in that they're actually just looking at them. They're not actually doing anything because they haven't committed crimes. And if Act Blue has committed crimes, cool. Lock them up. Who fucking cares? Do it. We're all going to, everybody here is going to support that. If Act Blue was taking foreign donations, lock them up. Don't care. If what they did was against the law, lock them up. Who cares?
Make sure our elections are safe, our elections are fair, and we get the right outcomes.
Hey, Chairman, Riley Gaines here. Thanks for what you do. If we don't pass some sort of Save America Act, or as Tommy said, some iteration of it leading into the election, the 2026 midterms here, do you think this will have a negative effect on Republican voters?
No, I think our voters are going to come out. I mean, I think what's going to drive our voters a lot is we.
Okay. So if they can't win the election without voter suppression, and they're saying that it won't affect their voters are going to show up, what does that say? We're not popular enough to win an election without cheating. We're going to have to suppress the vote. We're going to have to make sure that people can't vote in order for us to win because we don't have enough votes to win.
We've actually done what we said. In the big, beautiful bill, we said we would secure the border. We did. We said we cut taxes. We did. We said we put work requirements in for welfare recipients. We did. So
hold on. So let me go back. Jim Jordan does this thing where he goes in threes. And he does this. It's really actually smart by Jim Jordan. Everything is in threes. But I just want you to hear these three again and ask yourself, is this what they campaigned on?
Voters are going to come out. I mean, I think what's going to drive our voters a lot is we've actually done what we said. In the big, beautiful bill, we said we would secure the border. We did. We said we cut taxes. We did. We said we put work requirements in for welfare recipients. We did.
Okay. What you guys run on, though, mostly? Making things more affordable. Building the economy, bringing back American manufacturing jobs, ending wars, no new war. Remember, no new wars, no new wars, no new wars. Sorry, your tax cuts exploded inflation. Your tax cuts don't make up for the inflation. People are spending more. People have less money now than they did before, even with the tax cuts.
So all those good things we've done in the big, beautiful bill. But more importantly, I think this election, in simple terms, is.
I'd also like to point out once again, this same party has lost every contested election since Donald Trump took office. They've lost 100% of the time. This is not real confidence.
One side is crazy, one side's for common sense. And I think we're going to highlight those, and that's going to bring our voters out. And I think,
guys, we secured the border. You can't afford anything, but we secured the border. Okay, I guess we'll come out and vote for you.
In the vast majority of states, you got fair and elections that people have confidence in. It's just a few states where they have this ballot harvesting that I think you have real.
No uranium for Iran is good for the world. Well, I don't know if you read the memorandum of understanding, but Iran is going to have uranium, and also Iran having uranium has never hurt anybody ever. You just get scared. You're just scared because they're like, be afraid of the Iranians. You're like, okay, I'll be afraid with you. We wake up every day to be scared. The Iranians having enriched uranium has literally never hurt anybody.
Concerns, and that's what we got to get rid of, and that's what the Save America Act would do. So again, hopefully we can get elements of the Save America Act in a third reconciliation package and get that to the president's desk so President Trump can sign it.
Chairman, you responded to Tommy's question. You said that unless they change the filibuster rules, I think pretty much everyone paying attention knows that's not the problem anymore. The problem now is you've got more than a handful of senators that either aren't running for re-election or lost their primary that basically say they're not voting.
The problem we have now for Republicans is that there's some people in the Republican Party that aren't entirely beholden to Donald Trump, and those people who are acting on behalf of their constituents instead of Donald Trump realize that this is fucking dumb.
For it either way, even if you change the filibuster. And the reason why I bring that up.
How come not everybody's doing what Daddy Trump said? It's not fair.
Is if the Senate can't do it with what the bill that's there, it does come back to the House to pass something that you can get the Senate to pass.
They could not enrich their uranium, Daniel. Yeah, why couldn't they enrich their uranium? It was an agreement called the JCPOA. Who ripped up that agreement? Jesus Christ, it's too easy with you. Yes, they were at 3.6% enriched uranium max, and then Trump ripped up the agreement that forced them to keep their uranium enrichment at 3.6% or below, and then suddenly it was 60%. That's the Dems' fault.
And it just seems like you're saying, well, we'll get what we can into reconciliation, and it's not as big of a deal as some of the other things we've done to the voters, and understand that, but it is a big deal to the president and to a lot that vote for any election, much less a presidential election.
You sound zesty. Thanks, Black Wolf, but I'm not going to fuck you. I'm very happy in my current relationship, unless you're going to pay me, and then I'm not going to fuck you, but I'll do like weird shit to you. It's a kind of a theme with MAGA dads, so I'm happy to do that for money.
Well, I do think if it's
Are you fruity? I don't know, but for some reason your dad always asks me to drink pineapple juice. I'm not sure what that's about. Maybe ask him.
straight up or down vote on photo ID, you could get enough Republican senators to vote for it. You just can't get to that question because of the filibuster. So your point, Joey, is there are a handful, it looks like, Republican senators who will not vote to ever get rid of the filibuster. I think we know what's going to happen. If Democrats ever get control, they're going to do it. So it seems like if that's going to happen, or if that might happen, we should probably stop it now and put in place these safeguards to make sure our...
They say this every time. The argument for the filibuster is the same on both sides. They always say, we have to end the filibuster because the other side will do it, and then the other side just never does it.
Our elections are fair, our elections are honest, our elections are the way they're supposed to be. But short of that, I don't know how we're going to get it done. We can try to put some incentives on the reconciliation package that will push states and encourage states to do it. But other than that, I'm not sure how we can get there if the senators won't ever deal with this filibuster question.
Yeah, you guys have the power of the purse. You don't have the power of their conscience, and that's what they're hung up on over there, unfortunately. Chairman, thank you so much for joining us. It really is great to have you.
The guy that is covered up for thousands of rape, thousands, maybe hundreds. You have a clean conscience, Jim Jordan. All these people. All you rape apologists up here smiling. We're the good guys. All right.
And we appreciate it.
You bet, guys.
That's the best argument. I mean, that's the best argument I could find. That was 5 minutes of them explaining what their argument is for this so-called election fraud. They don't have one. They'll never have one because the election wasn't stolen from Donald Trump. It wasn't. I wholeheartedly believe that election fraud happened in 2024. But that is a belief, and you can disagree with that, and it's fair for you to disagree with that. I don't have definitive proof of that. So, but I do think I have compelling evidence that it was. And we'll find out if Donald Trump, I really think it's a misstep by Donald Trump if he brings up the voting machines, as he'll call them. Because then every news organization is going to play the clip of Donald Trump saying, Elon Musk knew those machines so well. And then that's going to lead them to, were there any anomalies with the machines? I wonder if anybody's done that research. And then they're going to find the Election Truth Alliance, and they're going to find that research has been done. And there were a lot of anomalies with those machines. And they happened in swing states. And every single one of them, every anomaly happened in nearly the identical way. And every one of those anomalies benefited Donald Trump. And a lot of people who aren't in the cult are going to be forced to say, you know what? If there was problems with these machines, it sure looks like it benefited Trump. And then they're going to say things like, if Republicans are so popular and Donald Trump is so popular and Democrats are so unpopular, how is it that Donald Trump won Arizona, but the Democrats won down ballot? How did they elect a Democrat governor and senator, but Donald Trump won the state? How did Michigan elect Democrats, but then Donald Trump? How did Pennsylvania elect Democrats, but then also Donald Trump? This is weird. Is there any anomaly in Pennsylvania? Oh, here's one. Here's one where once voter turnout got to 60%, suddenly there was a surge of votes going to Donald Trump. What did it look like in Michigan? Oh, the exact same, right at 60%. Oh, how did it look in Arizona? Oh, exactly the same. How did it look in every one of these states? That's so weird. It all looks exactly the same. I think it's a mistake if Trump does this. I hope he makes that mistake.
Dolphin said, I'm not gonna have people lying on me. It was me saying that they're corrupt Dems as well. Stop saying I stole my own account. I don't know what that means. I'm assuming you want me to read that for somebody else in the chat. I don't know what that means, but there you go. Don't lie on people. All right, you got it, Dolphin. Oh shit, it's one. That's it. Dre, I see you, Gemini. I see you saying Dre Dossier. I like Dre Dossier. I'm just going to say Dre Dossier was late. Dre Dossier did a good job with that, but Election Truth Alliance has done most of the legwork. They're just not that interesting. They don't have the production value of Dre Dossier. But if you want an entertaining breakdown, I would recommend Dre Dossier. We've done it. But if you want just like nuts and bolts, I would go to Election Truth Alliance. Jen, did I miss anything?
I'm double checking. Oh, that's it.
Okay. Ty said Wisconsin is looking at Elon for bribery in the 2024 election. They should. I wonder who's paying this RTP. You can see these super chats right here, Matthew. Those are the people that are paying me. Those are their names. Thank you. All right. Anything else from you, Jen?
Nope. I was going to just call out the same thing Matthew said.
Oh, gotcha. Well, I hope that helps,
Okay, if
Matthew.
anyone else in the last few minutes, once again, thanks, Mindless Pursuit, for knocking out that gift goal early. But if you guys want to, do any more OT before we end, we wouldn't complain. So.
Also, it's not just these people. Some of your dads are paying me to build calluses up in the back of their throats. So I do have some side revenue as well. Matthew, tell your dad, sorry about that. It got a little rough. But he asked for it, in all fairness. And he did not use the safe word. Okay, I will see all of you tomorrow morning and every weekday morning, 9:30 a.m. to 1 Pacific Standard Time, right here, wherever you're watching, whether it be TikTok, YouTube, or Twitch. Remember that you can support us by becoming a paid subscriber on any of those platforms. Memberships start at $3 a month on Twitch. That allows you to watch things commercial free. And then any level of membership gives you access to our members only events every other Wednesday. We watch a movie together in Discord or a show together in Discord. So I'm looking forward to that. We haven't announced what our next one will be. But if you don't want to join us for that and you just want to support our work, that would be greatly appreciated. You can do that on Twitch for free. If you have an Amazon Prime membership, you can go over there and sign in with your Amazon Prime and then subscribe to us and you'll get a free membership so you can watch all of that commercial free. Remember, we're on Spotify. If you missed any of this, you can watch the replays on YouTube or Spotify. Make sure you follow us on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. And until I see you guys tomorrow morning, go outside and touch grass, especially MAGA. Please go outside and touch grass. And if you can't touch the grass, please smoke the grass. It might enlighten you. You might learn some new things. You might learn about empathy, which would be cool. Reach down and find your bootstraps, then pull yourselves up by those bootstraps, and then get those boots on the ground. But before you do so, look in the mirror, say something nice about yourself, and hydrate. Drink lots of water. Take some water with you. And until I see you guys tomorrow morning, bright and early, take care of yourselves, stay cute and cool, and have a great summer.